What we do here is go back.
And there we go. I think we are possibly live. Hopefully we are. That doesn't look right on there at all, but hey ho, whatever. That's YouTube Studio for you. Hopefully you can all hear and see me. Choking already, unbelievable. It is Saturday the 7th. Is that right, the 7th?
Yeah.
7th of December, 2024. Where is the year going, or gone? It's a bit late for it to be going. We are at the very end. And actually I think next week's stream will be the last live stream we do before Christmas. How scary is that? Still done virtually no Christmas shopping. Very, very scared. Anyway, hopefully you can hear me loud and clear and everything's still going and working and stuff. Let's check the overhead camera. Make sure that is... Yep, that seems to be working. And the stream desktop, yep, says we've got no viewers. Happy days. That's working well. So, good evening. Rasher says, where's my life gone? Yeah, I know the feeling.
And it's Sunday the 8th in December.
Sunday the 8th in December. Sunday the 8th of December in Australia. Wow.
I think you picked up my brain cells there.
Oh dear, what is going on? Yeah, good evening one and all. Hopefully you've had a fantastic weekend or having a fantastic weekend. First point of call, we have done the draw today for the Lian Li 207 case, which was kindly donated by Colin Hilton. And the winner of that was a long-time regular of the channel, actually, Zero Defects. So that has been claimed, and that will be posted out probably Monday or Tuesday. So nice little early Christmas present there. So thanks to everybody who actually took the time and effort to go to the video, like it, watch it, and enter into the competition. And again, obviously, as always, thanks to Colin Hilton for his generosity. Now, if you haven't won any of our giveaways so far, don't worry. You've still got some time. There is still the Corsair AIO to be won, and also the Amazon gift voucher. We're doing the draw for that coming up next Saturday.
Got your Discord open?
I haven't got my Discord open. I've opened my Discord. Yeah, we'll be doing that. And yeah, so that'll be another opportunity to win something from the community, which is awesome. So that is that done. Tonight we're going to be doing an Intel build. I know a lot of you are going to be like, okay, whatever, Intel. And even worse because it's the new Intel Core Ultra, which, yeah, let's be fair, hasn't had the best of starts. Let's be completely honest with you. And at the moment, sorry, just grab my drink. And at the moment, obviously, for this particular platform, the LGA 1851 platform, we've got no idea what's going on. So whether it's going to have any longevity at all, whether they're going to scrap it straight away, nobody really knows. And at the moment, the only motherboards that are available are extremely expensive Z890 boards with all the bells and whistles. So it's, yeah, it's really not looking great for Intel at the moment, let's be honest. It's probably looking worse for Intel than it is for NZXT right now. Let me know what you think in the chat. No doubt some of you will want to have your two penneth worth regarding both Intel and NZXT. Both at the moment are somewhat hot potatoes, so yeah, we'll definitely be discussing those as the stream goes on. And obviously, as always, we'll be trying to answer some of your technical questions or just your questions in general. Anything that is on your mind, feel free to drop a question in the chat. Ideally, if you can, put a Q in front of the question just so that it's easier for Kath to highlight them and for me to find them if I actually can see the screen. And I can see Dutch Jan straight away there. Q, Mike, what do you think of that NZXT debacle? I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to go into too much depth straight away because it's still early doors and I'm still in my warm-up phase. But I've never been a big fan of NZXT. And I think pretty much anyone who has been with us for a long enough time will know that that is pretty much the case. Excuse the pun. Some of their cases we've reviewed and they've been okay. They're not great. Some of them are nice, but for me, I've always considered NZXT to be one of those brands very much like Corsair, where they kind of, a lot of influencers and people that get hold of the cases and show them off in all these fancy builds and with all the lighting and RGB stuff. And then it's kind of, it takes on its own life. and it becomes the kind of almost the de facto thing. And in fact, a lot of the time on our Discord, people that come in that have got problems with their PC, generally it's going to be an NZXT AIO, where it's either clogged, not working, they've not installed it right, or whatever. It just seems to be overly complicated for what it is. They've tried to create their own ecosystem using the NZXT CAM software, and I honestly don't like it at all. Which is why you'll probably never see, well, you won't see many NZXT videos on the channel, because it just doesn't do anything for me. Now, if you already own an NZXT case and you're happy with it, I'm fine with that. That's absolutely great. And if you're happy, then I'm happy. But for me personally, I just don't like the ecosystem at all. And still, the fact that if you want to buy into the NZXT ecosystem, RGB wise mainly, you still cannot synchronize it with your RAM, which seems absolutely bananas. Like, even the most basic of competitors will allow that. People that aren't particularly well known for their RGB integration, such as Thermaltake for one, you can still integrate RAM into your setup with that. It's kind of not really rocket science. And RGB RAM was one of the first kind of big RGB products on the market. So you'd think that they would put some emphasis on it, but bizarrely, nope, still isn't a thing. And even though NZXT motherboards are made by ASRock, and ASRock can integrate RGB into their system moderately easily, yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is there. Do NZXT not want you to have RGB RAM? Maybe they do, maybe they don't, I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. Atomic Sub says NZXT is a budget brand masquerading as a premium. I think that is the case for the majority of brands on the market these days. Be them popular ones, unpopular ones. People will only pay what they think a brand is worth paying. Very much like with cars. A premium car will get a premium price, even though technically the technology and the actual engine and the drivetrain is basically the same design as everyone else is using. So yeah, NZXT has never been my my kind of go-to brand. Some of the things have been quite interesting. I think it was it the Z1 or the H1 case, that little tiny ITX thing, which ended up, I think it was catching on fire and overheating, and the AIOs clogging. But other than that, I think it was a really good design and very innovative. And of course, it all goes back to the S340, which was the case that kind of started the whole trend for NZXT. That was the one which really grabbed people's attention. And since then, they've kind of played off of that, I think, personally. But again, I'm not a massive NZXT fan. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy any of their products unless they were significantly reduced. Then I might do. But yeah, the brand itself, I think, is a little bit up its own ass, if I can say that. Christ, that's hot. Thermonuclear drink. God, it's been my eyes water. What was I going to say? Yeah, NZXT, again, like I said, if you're happy with it and you like the ecosystem, that's great. But yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. And being that traditionally, this channel, as it started out, and as we do try to kind of stay on the tracks of, we do like the kind of the budget underdogs, or things that make sense in terms of value for money. So NZXT's never really fallen in that category, unless there's been some kind of sale on, like the 50% off deals when they've had with the H1 at Christmas time. Yeah, for £100 for a case with a power supply, that sort of thing, or with the cooler, it makes a lot of sense. But at full prices, I think a lot of it is overpriced. But let me know what you think about it. I don't think that NZXT are as big in the UK and possibly in Europe as they are in the States. As far as I can tell, NZXT in the US is a massive thing and kind of almost one of the go-to brands. I could be completely wrong. I don't live in the US. I don't really follow the US market very closely. So let me know. If you're in the United States of America, is NZXT a big thing? Is it kind of Corsair and NZXT, are they the two kind of main players? I'm guessing they probably are, but I don't know. So.
Discord?
Oh yeah, I've got to open Discord. Hang on a mo. Discord.
It's not me nagging, that's just not you doing what you're told first time.
Yeah. Oh. Don't switch. Drag that over there. We are in streamer mode. Okay. William Bodie is asking, question, where is Ugly Bob? Not even a crappy Friday joke. Yep, I don't know. I actually messaged him on Discord this weekend, asking if he's okay and maybe if we've offended him in some way. I don't think we have, but hey, you never know. But no, not even a response. So no idea what's happened to Ugly Bob. If anyone's heard from him, please let us know. Let us know that he's okay. Yeah, I don't know. Not much more I can say on that. Nick Byron says, hey, Ugly Bob was sighted on Strictly Come Dancing in the audience, or was that Paul Hollywood? You can say that because he's not here and we get away with it. Stephen has asked, I'm not able to find much info on the CPU DLV RIN V-Core. Should one be concerned with these voltages of CPU DLV RIN V-Core? I honestly don't know what that even means. So I can't tell you whether you should be concerned about them or not. I have no idea what it is. Not a clue. You probably want to ask someone like actually hardcore overclocking, or one of those knowledgeable chaps over on Reddit. I'm sure someone there will tell you the ins and outs of that, but I honestly don't know. But thanks for asking the question. Kev2427 says, can you explain what these Ultra chips are? Are they different from 14th gen? Kind of, yes. If you imagine the change we went from AM3 to AM4. So from AM3 processors on AMD to AM4, we went through a big change. So first of all, DDR2 was out and DDR3 was in, whereas the previous AM2 Plus was kind of, you could use DDR2 and DDR3. The memory controller was compatible with both. Intel previously, with the 13th and 14th gen processors, you could use either DDR4 or DDR5, so very similar in that respect. But now Intel have changed the architecture quite considerably, which I think is why they're having these teething problems, because like with anything, when you change an architecture, then you are going to have these teething issues, especially when it comes down to the operating system and the way that software is designed and also programmed to use those specific processors. Hence why we need drivers, especially graphics drivers, because without a graphics driver, most games haven't got a Scooby-Doo what to do with the graphics on the screen, and you just get a mess or whatever. Hence why Intel had problems with their initial ARC release for the Intel graphics cards, because there weren't a bunch of drivers all pre-done like AMD and NVIDIA have got. Over the years, they've kind of increased it and added more features to the drivers. Some drivers work on a base level, so there are some procedure calls and kind of effects and what have you, which are kind of just baked in anyway. But a lot of the time, modern games, they kind of tweak the drivers, or they have new features or new types of lighting or shading or whatever. And of course, the graphics card needs to be aware of this. So NVIDIA, AMD and Intel need to go behind the scenes before the game comes out and add these things into the driver, much like a microcode update or a BIOS update for your motherboard. So when a new processor comes out, your motherboard needs a new BIOS update to recognize that new processor. And the same is true with games. Modern video games, they come out, there's new things in them, so the graphics cards need to be aware of it. Hence why you get day one release drivers for some games, such as the new Indiana Jones game. There's new NVIDIA and AMD drivers to take into consideration how the game actually works and how it's been coded. In terms of the actual technology in the new Intel processors, I'll be honest with you, I haven't paid massively close attention to it. I do know, unfortunately, there is a new AI processor on board, so it has AI built in. So if that's something you're interested in some way, shape or form, then maybe that's a win. I don't know. But yeah, essentially it's just a new architecture. So it's just a way of having all the little bits that interact on the processor. So a processor now, a modern processor, is more of a system on a chip than it is a traditional processor. So previously, back in the older days when you had things like maybe, I'm trying to think how far back you'd have to go, but you had to go back a significant way when a processor was just a processor and it needed things like a chipset, it needed an IO controller, it needed a floppy controller, hard drive controllers, video controllers, all that kind of stuff. They were all separate add-in cards or add-in chips. Whereas now, a lot of the manufacturers have integrated those things onto the processor itself. And so much so that a modern AMD processor, or to the large part a modern Intel processor, you could in theory have a motherboard with just the processor, a socket, and very minimal other circuitry, and it would be kind of absolutely fine. You wouldn't need any additional south bridge, north bridge or chipset, because a lot of it's built in, such as USB controllers, memory controllers, IO controllers, all that kind of stuff. So it's become more complex, and in order to make all that complexity make sense, they have to move around those bits actually on the processor die. So certain bits work better in certain areas, much like with AMD. With the 9000 series, they've moved the V cache. So rather than being, I think it was on top, and now it's below, or vice versa. And just by doing that, they've managed to increase efficiency, decrease temperatures, and it's a good time all round. So those little revisions make a lot of sense. Intel have been struggling. We can't sugarcoat it too much. There's probably a lot of really good people and very talented engineers that work at Intel, and it seems like it's a very typical thing to kind of television production, where you've got so many little departments, it's all compartmentalized, and ultimately it's run by accountants and shareholders. That's where the problem lies. If you strictly had engineers making processors, or anything really, you would probably have the best possible products you could get. It might cost you a lot of money, maybe it won't, who knows. But when you have to start taking into consideration the board, profit margins and all that kind of stuff, and also the fact that this technology is very, very cutting edge. The process nodes that they're using are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, which makes the job increasingly more difficult to do. There are so many tiny little interconnects on these CPUs now, whereas maybe 20, 30 years ago, you could look at a processor, take it off, and you could see the traces and tracks, whereas now you can't do that barely with a microscope. So everything has been miniaturized and integrated. So it's not an easy thing to do. And basically Intel have managed to bugger it up. Let's not beat around the bush. They've not... What is he doing?
He's just sat in the windowsill.
Where to?
In the front room.
That's upstairs, isn't it?
Is it?
Yes, Dave. Sorry, we have a screaming cat. I'm not sure if it's picking up on the microphone. Anyway.
What's wrong, Dave?
There you go. Hayden Trent's asking, oh, this is another Intel foobar. What happened to that 14700K chip that you couldn't get stable? Still can't get it stable. It's currently in this box, and I've asked CCL, who I got it from, for an RMA, because it is basically, well, not unusable. I had a couple of instances where I was running it and it ran for like an hour or so, but then I would just go away, do something, come back, and it's like, oh, why is my mouse not moving now? And literally just the whole system just freeze solid. Number lock wouldn't work on the keyboard, and I had to do like a hard reset. So yeah, it was definitely doing some weird crashing. I'm trying to think of what it was, the error code that there was. There was the usual thing like the error 41, which is normally down to like power supplies or bad hardware. I'm relatively confident that this is a bad processor. Although having said that, when it was actually running, I did run the Intel performance test you can do. There's like a CPU performance test or health test. And it managed to do that and passed it with flying colours. But it seems the problem with this is more times than not, well, it's at the extremes. So if you're doing light tasks, it's not too bad. But if you leave it to idle, it will die. Or if you try to load up a game, it will die. The usual test for these processors is if you fire up a game of Fortnite, you can basically, well, that'll be it, it'll crash. And quite often on my screen, I've got like my main monitor, I've got Discord on the side monitor. So I'll be there, fire up Fortnite, loading screen, look over to the Discord, waiting for it to load, and then look back and it's like, oh, so that's still not loaded then. Then I'll try and scroll on Discord and it's like, okay, so now nothing works. So it's crashed the game. So unfortunately, yeah, this appears to be a bad CPU. So that is a massive shame. I have got a motherboard, another motherboard, which I can test it with, which I haven't got to yet. I'm still umming around whether I want to go through that hassle, because literally I put my 13900K back in the system, and after the first reboot, it's been absolutely fine, and it hasn't crashed since. and that is with for all the settings tried. So I've used it with the ASUS motherboard with the ASUS performance enhancements on. I've tried it with the enhancements off, XMP on, XMP off, Intel default limits everywhere, various different performance things you can do to make it stable, and unfortunately it wouldn't do. I have been doing tests with quite fast RAM, but generally that RAM works fine with my 13900K. So you'd think, well, if it works fine with a 13900K and it's been stable for God knows how long, it should work with a 14700K. But no, it's been very disappointing, which is a shame, because I actually wanted to kind of slightly downgrade or side grade the machine, take the 13900K out of there, put that into another motherboard, and then sell that PC off, get rid of that, and stick with this because it's arguably a little bit more power efficient and it has slightly fewer cores as well, which, to be honest with you, for me, I don't need the extra cores anyway, so there's that to it.
It's only Candy you can't find.
Only what Candy you can't find?
Steve's just upstairs, fast asleep on his back in Angel's room.
Oh.
It must be Otis making all that noise.
Candy's in the bedroom window.
She ain't in the bedroom window.
On the far side.
No. I looked.
Okay. Anyway, so there you go. Yeah, I'm on the latest BIOS on that board as well. Like I said, I probably will try this on another board just to be on the safe side, because CCL still haven't got back to me. I did raise the RMA, I think on Thursday or possibly Friday. I'm not too sure exactly when it was. Actually, what day is it today? Saturday. Was it yesterday? I'm not too sure. The days are blending into one. I actually did the changeover, and it was, I think it was on Thursday I did it, or was it Wednesday? I did the changeover, and on Wednesday evening when I did the changeover, it immediately became unstable, and it got to the point where I couldn't even load Windows. It said that Windows was completely corrupted and wrecked, so it's like, oh, here we go. So I managed to kind of recover Windows, repair the installation, all that kind of stuff, and got in, started using it again. It was okay for a little while, and then yeah, it just died a couple of more times, and then it got to the point where it just wouldn't reboot, and it said that Windows was gone again, like my drive didn't have a boot sector or anything. So there's definitely something really weird going on with that processor, and again, for it to be able to take it out, put the other processor back in, and immediately it'd just be fine, I would argue that means it's a faulty processor. But it's not really my job to test it on various different platforms to see if it is faulty. That's down to the manufacturer, because that's what your warranty is for. You should just be able to buy a processor, stick it in your motherboard, and pretty much it just work. But that, unfortunately, hasn't been the case. So, yeah, that is kind of where I am at with the 14700K. Ultimately, I am very disappointed. And I was getting to the point thinking, I don't think I'm ever going to do another Intel system. But then I put my 13900K back in there. It's been great. I've done some video editing, been using it as I would normally, tested some games and stuff, and it runs great. So that's what made me think, I've got this other Intel platform here. I do need to do some testing on it. And this PC build that we're doing, or starting tonight anyway, is, I'm hoping, going to be my video editing platform going forward for the next however long in terms of months. So the processor is a 245K, which is actually the entry-level chip. I've actually got this on loan from MSI UK, so big shout out to MSI UK for loaning me the processor. If I'm going to buy a processor, which I will at some point, if this turns out to be my platform of choice, which I think it probably will be, I will probably go with the 265K rather than the 285K, because I think the 285K, I don't need those extra cores realistically, and the extra cost. I think the 265K is the more sensible solution overall. But it'll be nice to give it a try, see what it's like, get a bit of a feel for it, and see, yeah, just see if I can iron out the quirks. It's also a good time as well, because I can do some benchmarks. The new BIOS update and firmware fixes and scheduler fixes and all that kind of stuff that Intel have promised for the first few weeks of December are imminent. So it'll be interesting to see what performance is like now, and also after doing the updates, seeing how much it improves, and if they can claw back any of the losses that they've had, weirdly, over the last generation. Hopefully it's going to be more stable. That's my main thing. Stability for anyone, if you're gaming, if you're video editing, or just using your PC normally. The thing you want out of your system is stability. The last thing you want is every 2 minutes something to crash. So yeah, anyway. There, I've chatted for way too long. Let's have a look and see what some of you guys are saying in the chat, and then we'll take a look at the system and start building. David Andrew says, Intel dramas versus AMD just works. Oh, how quickly the mind loses its ability to think backwards. I can remember, well, the first AMD AM4 socket, the first 1000 generation of AMD CPUs was pretty awful for quite a long time. Probably a good 6 months to a year before they got that reasonably stabilized. And it didn't really come into its own until the 2000 series launched. It was much better then, and then it kind of found its feet in the 3000 range. So it took them technically 2 generations, but 1 generation, a refresh, and then the next generation to actually get their shit together. And I do see this a lot. A lot of people slating Intel. Now, you can say what you like about Intel, and most people do, but AMD isn't the saint here at all. Yes, at the moment, they appear to have a pretty decent platform in terms of speed, the chipsets, the motherboards, longevity, all that kind of stuff. They're doing really well, but they have been in the same position that Intel are in now. And that is something that we need to really actually look back at and think, yeah, it happens. Intel shouldn't be in this position because they are the much, much larger company. They spend so much more money on research and development, so they shouldn't be in this predicament. They really shouldn't. But they've had Pat Helsinger, I think that's his name, at the helm for the last 3 years, and he was supposed to be the one to come in and make everything right. Now, whether or not he was kind of prevented from doing what he wanted to do architecturally or from an engineering standpoint, that may well be the case. But ultimately, yeah, they're in a bad position. But if you do remember back, the Intel from the kind of 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and arguably 12th gen, very, very stable platforms, like extremely stable platforms. It's only since the 13th and 14th gen have come out that they've had these problems, and now with this new platform, obviously the teething issues on top of that. So we do have to remember that, and also the first generation of the Ryzen the AM5 platform. I was an early adopter into the 7000 series, and there have been times where I had my video editing PC or my streaming rig, and I was literally close to tears with this instability. And some of you may have been even in some of the streams that we did when we actually put that platform into the streamer and the stream would just crash. And it's like, why is the stream crashing? It's all brand new stuff. I've tried 4 different sets of RAM. I've tried 3 different graphics cards, multiple different hard drives, 2 or 3 different motherboards, a couple of processors, and it just will not remain stable. So the early adopter, me, with the, I think the first Ryzen I had was the 7700 or maybe the 7600, and it was awful with the B650 Tomahawk. It was absolutely horrendous, literally bringing a grown man almost to tears. So to be too heavy-handed on Intel and say, oh yeah, AMD is the winner. AMD have been in this position. It's just that for the last year or so, it's been much better, but not that much longer. So do remember that. Yeah, and also a lot of you out there, I know this for a fact from talking and also the Discord, that there's a lot of you that still rock older Intel platforms and you're very, very happy with them and they're very, very stable and they just go on and on and on for years. Like you still see like 4570s running, people playing games and living their best life with these older platforms, like on a 3rd, 4th, 5th gen Intel. There wasn't a 5th gen, I don't think. Was there? Can't remember it. Don't think there was. Anyway, hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. All manufacturers have problems. It's just Intel at the moment, they're on the back foot because they've traditionally been the stable choice, and obviously that hasn't been the case. There you go. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think I've used up all the oxygen in the room. So look at some of your questions. Is Kath posted anything on Discord? Yeah, you can breathe now.
What temperature is it in now?
What temperature is it? 23. It was 21 just now, so I am talking way too much.
Rant.
It wasn't an angry rant, it was just a rant. Oh, I should say as well, thank you very much to Orali, who's sent in a PayPal donation. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Kath's going to do the light. It just come to my mind. There you go.
Say light first.
Light, camera, Poppy. Poppy is living her best life there in the Amazon box. She's chewed the bejesus out of it.
Got the lights on, Pops?
All right. Dutch Jan's come back with the Digital Linear Voltage Regulator, or DLVR, a power delivery mechanism that was created by Intel and was meant to be featured in 13th gen CPUs. All right, okay. And is that now in the new CPUs, the Core Ultra series? I have no idea. To be honest with you, that sort of stuff, I don't really pay a massive deal of attention to it. As long as a processor goes in a motherboard, it posts, I can install Windows, and I can use my system without it crashing every couple of minutes or have instability issues. Most of the other stuff I don't really care about too much, which is bizarre because the motherboard that's going into this build we're doing tonight is the most stupidly overkill motherboard that you could possibly ever dream of. It's got USBs up the wazoo. It's got, I think it's got 5 M.2 slots, which is just ridiculous. Yeah, it's just an insane motherboard. Now again, if you're building an Intel Core Ultra PC or considering it, I would strongly wait, being at the time we are now, I would wait until January because it's extremely likely that there are going to be a new range of lower tier motherboards, which are going to be better for most people. Let's face it, the Z890 and also the X870 boards, most people don't need that. It's nice to have, and if you've got a spare bit of cash and you want to kind of treat yourself or just be a baller, then of course get those platforms because yeah, it's something to be proud of, and generally they do tend to last a long time. I do remember my Asus X370 Prime motherboard, which I had 2 of, one with IO shield, one without IO shields. Remember those? Yeah, that was a great board. I think I sold one system with one of the boards in, and the other board ended up going to Glenn on our Discord. And as far as I'm aware, that board is still going strong in a PC that he then sold on again. So yeah, that motherboard, X370, the first range of boards that came out for the Ryzen 1000 series and AM4, still going strong today. So that's had a pretty good life. What's that, 7 years? 8 years maybe? So yeah, pretty impressive. Also, as well, shout out to Andy Archer and Zero Defects. They actually sent this fantastic Xiaomi electric screwdriver set, which comes in this really nice solid metal case, and you press the top, it's got like a toggle thing, and you can pull the screwdriver out and it's got all the bits in there. It's got some nice bigger bits there for the bigger screws. It's got some Torx bits, and you got some, it looks like there's some tri-wing bits in there, a couple of Torxes. Yeah, pretty decent stuff. And also the screwdriver has got 2 torque settings, so a 1 and a 2. And it feels actually a very premium device. Nice little grip on there. The only thing it hasn't got is a light, which it would have been nice to have a light, I think. But that's moaning. I'm not going to moan because it's a gift and we like gifts. But yeah, it's very cool. Actually, I haven't looked to see how magnetic it is. The bits all appear to be magnetized from the box, so let's have a look. How magnetical is it? No, maybe it's not magnetical. Oh well. It's not the end of the world, is it? No, not magnetic. It's magnetic in there, but not magnetic in there. But we'll be giving this a shot tonight. I want to see how this goes, and we've got a radiator to put in, so it'll be good for all those numerous screws which we have to insert. Yeah, so that's a cool design. It's got a nice reassuring click. Can that go in both ways? Yes. It's like a USB-C of storage units. You can go in either way. There, that's cool. You could actually use that as a proper weapon. It's really heavy.
Do it
Really,
on my head to see.
I'm not going to do it on my head. Richard Schneiderman says, I don't get Intel's new naming. Is that the equivalent to the i5 14600? So yeah, you've got, at the moment there's 3 processors that are available retail. So you've got the i5 245K, you've also got the i7 265K, and the i9 285K. So the family name goes up as the number gets higher. So effectively, think of it as all of them are the 200 series, and bigger number better. So 245 entry level, 265 mid tier, 285 high end. So there's a little bit of wiggle room in between there. So no doubt there'll be like a 270, which will be somewhere in between, maybe a non-K part. Who knows? It's early days at the moment.
You getting into Discord?
William Bodie says, work it hard to make it magnetic. I might have to.
No.
I am getting. Am I getting what?
You're getting the questions from Discord.
I am, yeah.
Oh, cool. Because you're working from the bottom up, are you?
No, that was just the last one as far as I can see. Anyway. Let's have a look what else.
See who Nick Barnes is.
Nick Barnes, I don't think I said.
It's in Discord.
Tough Enough says, how is that screwdriver name spelt? Xiaomi. So John David Sullivan's put it in there. So it's XIAOMI. Xiaomi. It's part of their Mi range. Xiaomi Mi. Good stuff actually, Xiaomi. Xiaomi is kind of like the Chinese Apple. Or at least they would like to think so. Where is the... Kath said I got to look at something. William... Nick Barnes, sorry. There we go. Why did I not see that? Yeah, I was working from the bottom up. Nick Barnes' question, why is it you never hear of Intel CPUs with cooler mounting pressure issues, yet AM5s seem to be a weak point? I have complained previously about cooler mounting issues, and the... in fact, actually, Intel kind of bend gate was a thing. Intel were basically the ones that started it. So when the Intel 12th gen came out, they were starting to have the buckling issue. So at that point, everyone was mostly on AM4, so obviously it wasn't a problem. But as AM5 came out, that did become a thing. And mounting pressure is certainly a thing. I myself, if you go back and have a look at our video on the Intel mounting frame kit, I actually had a lot of problems with that to begin with because I did mine up too tight and it was causing all kinds of problems. So there were, I think it was Buildzoid and maybe Thermal Grizzly, I know Gamers Nexus did as well. They were going on about the correct torque settings, which was the problem with my mounting plate. It didn't specify any torque settings. It just had like IKEA pictures of screw and install. It didn't give you any idea of if you got to really kind of crank it down or whether you just got to do it so it's finger tight or whatever. And that was the problem. Essentially, you really could get away with not using one of those mounting plates at all because the CPU cooler should exert enough pressure on it. So you could take that retention mechanism out of the equation altogether. But obviously, if you are one of those people which tries to change your CPU cooler with your PC in the upright position, as soon as you take the CPU cooler off, your CPU is going to fall out and you're probably going to damage pins. So probably best not to do that, but potentially you could do. Hopefully that answers your question. There we go.
Kevin there as well.
Kevin in Discord.
Yeah.
I think I did. Kev2427, yeah?
Yeah.
What GPU is in the machine behind me? That GPU is a MSI RTX 4070 Super Gaming X Slim. I had to dig deep to get that there. Yeah, it's a long name. It's it's the RTX 4070, the Gaming Slim Edition. In fact, interesting story behind that. MSI, when it first came out, they loaned me one for a day one release launch video, which we did, and it was great, but I had to unfortunately send the card back. And I did say at the time, I don't really want to send the card back, I really like it. And there was an opportunity where, I think it was I think it was on eBay, but via one of the other retailers like eBuyer or whoever it was, where there was like a 20% offer on, and it was down from the normal kind of 600-ish pounds that it was at the time, down to about 460, 70 or something. Stream froze?
I don't know if it's for everyone or just...
No, we haven't dropped any frames here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I managed to pay considerably less for it. And it's, to be fair, has been a fantastic card. And I really do like the MSI ecosystem. I know a lot of you get bored of me saying this, but I think it's a really nice ecosystem. The fan control software, MSI Center, the user, whatever it is, Performance Center, I can't remember what it's even called now. It just works really well for me. And also the RGB synchronization and all that kind of stuff. It's just easy to do. Now I know, yes, you can use OpenRGB or Signal RGB or fan speed. And yes, we've done videos on all those things. So I know it can be done. But I just really like it that there's a nice little MSI Center which isn't overly bloated these days. And I can control my fans, my power, my speed, my lighting. I can do my updates. I can do everything in that center, which is great. And for me, it works better than the ASRock or Gigabyte alternatives. The Asus Army Crate is getting better, but it's massively bloated. So I think MSI are probably doing the best of the bunch at the moment. That is my opinion. Feel free to disagree. I'm sure some of you will. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, in terms of lighting, it's great because this system here, I've got MSI motherboard, I've got the RAM synchronized, the fans are synchronized, the graphics card RGB is synchronized. The mouse is a MSI mouse, it's the GM30, which I've been rocking for a long time. My GM41 wireless died. Well, it hasn't died, but it's behaving weirdly. The sensor, I think, is gone. The keyboard, this was sent by Ugly Bob ages ago. This is the MSI GK71. Again, another keyboard that we reviewed, which we were loaned by MSI. And I said at the time, like, I don't want to send this back either because I really like it. And that was on my video editing desk for a very, very long time. Now it's for the streaming PC. And yeah, I like the MSI ecosystem. What can you say? The only thing that is missing, really, I don't know, actually, their power supplies are pretty good as well. I've not had one of those yet. That has got to be something on the kind of the wish list or to-do list to get some of their power supplies. Although I'm not really set up to test power supplies. All I can say is either it's quiet or it's cheap or it doesn't set fire to my PC. Which are all, those are all valid, I suppose, but yeah, I haven't got the testing equipment to be able to give it any kind of real scientific overview. Alexa says, I'm old-fashioned. I'm not using any software for my RGB. I get the colour I want with the wiring. Cool. Dutch Jan says, then I'll have to try MSI Center again. I think the reason why I get on so well with MSI Center is because I don't have anything else installed. So I don't have any other fan control software. I don't have any other RGB software. I just let it get on and do its own thing and control the system as much as I can. The fact that most of it is all integrated, keyboard, mouse, not monitor, but yeah, keyboard, mouse, motherboard, etc., graphics card, it just all works really well together. Kev2427, what's your opinion on the MSI AIOs? MSI AIOs, let's be honest now, some of the early ones were awful and they had problems with the pumps clogging. I think it was the 240 and 360s were really bad. The 280s, for some reason, I think they were made elsewhere and they weren't bad at all. But they had a weird thing where they had the pump mounted in the radiator rather than being actually into the cold plate, which I don't think is a good idea. And also, obviously, NZXT suffered the same problem with the H1 tower, where they mounted the pump into the radiator. I don't think that's just not a good idea, I feel, personally. G-Zone says, I like the MSI Center. Thank you, G-Zone. It's good. I like it. It's all right. It does the job.
Discord?
Discord. If you can hear whistling, our fireplace for the wood burner is kind of going a bit nuts. And also, we've got UPVC windows, like, you know, traditional double glazing with the UPVC surrounds. And where the cheapskate bastards, hey Candy, where they put in the beading around the outside edges, they never sealed it very well, and we've got that stone chip stuff. So there's not an absolute seal, so the wind kind of gets in behind it and it whistles. So yeah, if you hear any kind of whistling, that's what it is. Your hearing aids aren't going mad, it is our house, unfortunately. Rick Welly Bob, how you doing, Rick? He says, question, what happened to the chalkboard? Funny you should mention it. It is here. It was behind the fireplace because I put it to one side when I've got the YouTube thing, and I should put it back up there actually. It does stand out a bit more. Having a play button in the background is so kind of, yeah. I should take it down. I'll get rid of it one day.
But George wanted the chalkboard.
Yeah, George wanted the chalkboard. He's going to put it up in his cubicle at work because he does tech support at work, and he said, "Oh, can I have that?" It's like, well, yeah, if you want it. It's behind the fireplace. I'll dig it out for you. And I didn't. I did, but a bit too late. There we go. William Bodie says, did just read there's a storm coming to you too. Dara, is that true? Yeah, it's been pretty windy for the last probably 24 hours. Kind of getting used to it now. It's not been... For us here in Bristol is a relatively... Bristol is a relatively flat area in terms of its geography. There are a few hills and bumps, but in general, considering the surrounding areas, so if you go further down south or maybe up to the north a little bit, you've got like Yorkshire Dales and stuff, and there's more mountainous areas. Further down south there are some sort of hilly areas, and also going towards the northeast of us, you've got going into the Welsh valleys. So as the stuff, weather, whatever, comes up through the Bristol Channel, so it comes off of the southern coast of Ireland, then comes up towards Bristol through the Bristol Channel. It kind of funnels in between the kind of the hilly areas on either side. So Bristol, it kind of is relatively flat and it kind of passes through. So if there's ever any snow or anything, normally it's the more hilly areas towards Wales or towards Yorkshire side that get the majority of it, whereas it just tends to pass over Bristol. Or the kind of this area of southwest known as, well, it used to be known as Avon or Wessex years ago.
Avon.
Wolfman says, my electric was gone for 12 hours now. Now my water's gone as well. Oh shit, that's terrible. We're not preppers as such, but we do kind of stock up on things. So we've got like tinned goods. We've got a little gas powered burner, like a hob, so we can cook things if we need to. We've got some water stored as well, bottles of water. We've also got the wood burner, so we can put water into, we've got one of those metal kettles, so you can put it on top of the wood burner to boil water if you need to. So we're pretty okay. We've got things like pot noodles and noodle mills and tins of food and stuff. So if we lose our power or there's any kind of major outages, oh, they're way out of date, but
that's 5 years between friends.
If it's a difference between eating and not eating, I'll eat out of date every day. I've watched The Walking Dead. I know how it works. Yeah, so there we are. Also, I should mention as well, the reason why I've said this is part one, because this is going to be like an ongoing project. I'm still not sure what graphics card I want to put in this system. Now, being that it's going to be my video editing PC, I have personally done a stupid thing. Now, I'm going to share my stupid thing with you all because I regret it immensely. And hopefully when CES comes out, some of my fears will be relieved, but I don't know for sure. So some of you may know from the review I did, I've got my main video editing PC is a Intel 13900K running on a Z790 Asus Tough Gaming Wi-Fi motherboard, which is one of the BTF range, or Back to the Future, or Back to Front, however you want to look at it. So this is ones where you wire up the connectors from the back of the case, so we can make it look super clean and smooth. Also, Asus at the same time launched a graphics card, which is the RTX 4070 Ti Super also in the BTF format. Now, unfortunately, the way that the BTF format works for the graphics card is you don't plug in the power. You plug the power into the motherboard and it passes through this kind of like finger, like almost like a PCI Express ×1 slot. So that is how it gets its power. It kind of sandwiches into there. But they did promise us, or ASUS showed us, that there was going to be a ASUS BTF GPU adapter. So this was a little adapter which you could plug into the graphics card, and you could then plug in a normal 12 volt high power or 12 volt 6x2 connector. You know, the ones no one likes. So I was thinking to myself when I got it, it's fine, it's not on the market yet, but by the time I'm looking at upgrading, I'll be able to pick up one of those cheaply, and then I can take that graphics card out, put it into my next build, everything will be okay. Sadly, that particular device has not come to market, and I strongly, strongly ask if any of you can find me one of those adapters anywhere, please let me know. If you just do a search for ASUS BTF adapter or ASUS BTF GPU adapter, you'll see exactly what it is. It's basically a tiny little block of plastic with like a PCI Express ×1 slot on one side and a 12 volt high power connector on the other. I cannot find one anywhere. And I've looked for many hours on many sketchy websites. I've seen a couple of video reviewers showing it, but no one actually has one. So if you can find one, please send me the link so I can buy one and stop myself having cardiac arrest. Because at the moment, I've got a platform out there which is a very expensive platform which I basically cannot use on anything else. The motherboard I could use on its own, but the graphics card really needs to stick with that motherboard. Otherwise, I cannot use a graphics card. And it isn't a cheap graphics card, let's be fair. 4070 Ti Super, especially from ASUS and being one of the tough range, it isn't cheap. It was a significant investment. Now, don't get me wrong, video editing wise, that PC is flipping excellent. But I would dearly love to be able to take that graphics card out of there and put it into possibly our new Intel platform here. That would make me a very happy person. So if you can find one, please do let me know. Zero Defects, have you reached out to ASUS? I haven't as of yet. That is something I've been meaning to do. Although with my recent luck of reaching out to companies, I'm not overly hopeful. Furthering on to that, Antec UK still refusing to either respond to my emails, or it would seem your questions and also your suggestions as well. So to those of you that have reached out to Antec UK to suggest that they send cases to us for review purposes, free of charge, no money to change hands, they still refuse to get in touch with me. And I've tried numerous occasions again, even with the person who I know is the new Antec UK kind of PR person, and completely ghosted. So clearly I've upset someone along the line, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So yeah, we won't be seeing Antec products on this channel for the foreseeable, or at least until they start answering their emails or take me off their shit list, which clearly I'm on. Anyway, there you go. John David Sullivan says, that's why I don't want to get into BTF. As it becomes a standard, then fine, but not early on. Yeah, I was hoping that it was going to be one of those things which got adopted and was very good. There still isn't a sensibly priced, well, actually, I'll go one further. There still isn't a B650 motherboard back to front. You can get a Micro ATX one from both MSI and also Gigabyte, and I think ASUS as well, one of their tough boards. There still isn't a full-size ATX B650 BTF or Project Zero or whatever the others are calling it, motherboard. So there's a massive chunk of the market where if you wanted one, you still can't even buy one, which is a real shame. Although, having said that, ASUS have confirmed that there will be a X870 BTF board at CES that will be launched. So I was thinking that the standard has been ditched, which is a shame because almost all of the case manufacturers have, to some extent or other, invested or at least dip their toes into the BTF connectors. Some of them have got just ATX, some of them got ATX and micro ATX, depending. Like Gigabyte have gone right in on it on their own cases. So you'd think that they would have the motherboards as well because they're making them. And also MSI with the things like the Pano, they've got them, but they don't seem to want to use them, or the boards aren't about. Maybe they will be for the X870. We'll see hopefully in what is only going to be a few weeks away. And in fact, yeah, by this time next month, CES will be done. That's terrifying. And we've got a PayPal come in from from Russia, 30 GBP. Thank you very much. That's much appreciated. And also £7.71 from Technically Stable, which is awesome. Thank you very much. Actually, oh yeah, that's right. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for that. Nice one, Rasher, lovely. And thanks, Technically Stable. And of course, if you want to help support the channel and also get something nice for your desk, like a desk mat, maybe not this one, but something very similar, you can head over to technicallystable.com/mikesunboxing and get yourself a mouse pad for Christmas. Links are in the chat right now. Sorry, a little bit of showing there, but hopefully you don't mind. Dom says, hello, this is what Gemini said. ASUS BTF GPU adapters are not currently available for purchase. ASUS has not yet announced any plans to sell them separately. Bastards. You listening, ASUS? Bastards. I've invested a stupid amount of money in that graphics card. And if my motherboard fails, I'm properly screwed. Like properly screwed. Hopefully, come CES, there'll be some more announcements. These things do take a time, and again, I might reach out to ASUS in the slightly quieter period and see if I can get one. I really would like one. If anyone knows an ASUS rep in the UK, please let me know. Thank you to Irie Wolfman, who's just become a supporter. Thanks very much for supporting the channel and becoming a member. You now got early access to the videos. You lucky, lucky people. And also, if you so wish, you also have the VIP rank on our Discord, which gives you very little. But it does mean you can kick people who are members or newbies. It's got to be worth it, surely. Anyway, let's get this this PC built, shall we? Because it's, well, yeah. We're an hour in. I haven't stopped talking. It's gone up half a degree already. Although humidity is only 55%. That's quite impressive. Let's close this up. I love how quiet my PC is, because even with the sides open, you can't hear it still.
Skystalker says the Technically Stable mouse pads are really worth it. I'm thrilled with mine.
Awesome. Thank you, Sky. Yeah, they're good. I like them. I've got the Mike's Unboxing over there, but this one was from William Bodie. Thank you very much, William Bodie. And this one's had a little bit of a hard life, but it's actually quite good because it's got quite nice contrasting colours. So when we're doing the overhead shots, as you can see, it's got nice contrasting colours rather than being just pure black or pure white or whatever. Whereas obviously the Mike's Unboxing one is predominantly black, so it just gives you a very dark screen. But this got some nice textures and colours to it, so I like to use this when we're doing builds. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
And Welly Bob says you should get one of Poppy's kittens.
I should.
You could have Dave.
I need to get Dave Aiken. Many years ago, we were sent this Christmas card. There's some blast from the past on this. So this was a Christmas card that was sent to us from Dave Aiken, Seam at Night. There's a blast from the past. Skystalker, Glenn, Rob, Akia Shadow, Ghost Adder, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Tactical Neep, Ugly Bob, O'Reilly, ClickTech Kev, Mark MCE87, and Billy K 2018. So yeah, Dave made that card up, and they bless them, they sent a hamper. So I actually want to do a mouse mat with some of these. You probably can't see that very well, can you? I'm being a terrible host. So that is some of the things on there which are kind of significant to Mike's Unboxing. Obviously, there's me, there's Kath, fans, Ryzen processors, cases, the Q-Link, some mud pants, which we discussed at one point. Yeah, it's a really cool card. And back in the day when I was drinking many Carlsbergs, don't do that so much now. And obviously the Scorpions from when I double up as Emotep. Even got a little IMU camera on there, BIOS update videos. I think that was a Cooler Master keyboard. Anyway, yeah, it's a cool card, and I would actually like to kind of take those type of designs and put them around the outside edge of a mouse mat. Then I have maybe something in the middle, how to wire RGB or something. I need to work on that. Anyway, that's my little side rant. William Bodie says, you two are welcome. Wish I'm able to send more, but I don't trust DHL anymore. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. Most of the courier companies these days are, yeah, pretty awful, to be fair. So, we're very...
We have this lovely lady from Royal Mail. She's so happy.
We do. We have a lady from Royal Mail to come and collect and do deliveries and stuff. She's just so smiley.
She's so cheerful.
She's like smiley, smiley, Carol Smiley.
You feel so happy after seeing her.
Yeah,
Well, I do, Mike don't.
I'm like, oh Christ, she's bought more shit. I don't say that because I'm not a bad person. Anyway, let's get on and build this thing. So, motherboard wise, we are going to be using the stupidly overspec'd motherboard. This is the, is this MPG or MAG? Performance Net. MSI Performance Gaming Z890 Edge TI Wi-Fi, 16 phase VRM. Yeah, it's just a nuts thing. Thunderbolt 4, 5 gigabit LAN, ridiculous amounts of USB connectivity. I've done a review on this separately, so if you ever want to check it out, you can do. I am kind of hoping that Intel do become a stronger platform, because if they don't, I think it's bad news for all of us.
And you want to sit in your chair?
Yeah, Candy, do you want to go on the chair? Oh, I should have put that back in there, shouldn't I? So there, that is the motherboard. What an absolute beast of a motherboard that is. It's absolutely nuts. And they've even done it white on the back as well. Or silver, I think this is. It's a silvery white. So this is actually quite nice because it can tie in with builds that are black or white. There's a bit of flexing on there. It's so heavy. Ira Wolfman's gifted 5 Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How-To memberships. Thank you very much, Ira Wolfman. Much appreciated.
Candy
Is
get
that
the
going on?
lights.
Yay. Candy likes the light. Oh, she wanted to go on my monitor, I expect. Or go behind my monitor.
Should I open it? Or not?
Can do. O'Reilly says black memory slots. Ew. Yeah, I know. This is a very nice looking motherboard, I think, personally. And it's got all the new features such as the quick release. I'll try and remember how to do it now. Let's just pull off on it. So the M.2 shields, no screws required, all push fit. And for the side one, you press that in and you can move the whole thing in one go. So you've got access to all of your M.2 slots, of which there are numerous. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be enough for most people, I think. Got a chipset there. Yeah, it's actually a lot lighter now. Although that VRM heatsink is pretty heavy.
Will it be a white build?
It's aiming to be a white build. I've got white RAM, I've got a white AIO, I've got a white case, the power supply's black, but I've got some Teucer extensions, cable extensions, which were kindly provided by Andy Archer. Thank you very much, Andy. So we'll be using those. So we're going to try and make it as white as we can, which is why I'm also considering, when it actually comes out, I am considering putting, I wanted to put my Asus Tough gaming graphics card, because that's white, on here. I think that would have been a really nice platform. But obviously I can't get the adapter, so yeah, we've been down that road already. We know where that goes. But what I would like to do is maybe go for an all Intel build and get the A580 from ASRock. Their Steel Legend, which looks like a really nice 3-fan cooler in white, which I think would tie in really nicely with this build. Poppy likes it so much she's eating the cardboard. Anyway, let's...
The motherboard have RGB.
The motherboard has RGB, yeah, on the... Actually, let's do it over a camera. So this section here lights up RGB. I don't think there's any around the chipset. I'm pretty sure there isn't any around here. I think it's just on this here, but there's RGB ports. You got one there, one there, one there. There's another one or two at the top as well, I think.
You need to spray paint those memory slots.
The memory slots are a little bit on the black side, which is unfortunate. But anyway, there you go. So let's get this install started. So we've got our processor here, which this is ironic actually, because they said we're going to send you an Intel Core i7. They sent it an i9 box, and the processor's an i5, and it's got 3s in the box there. So yeah, hey ho. So we're going to open up the socket. I think that's the first time I've opened up the socket on this board actually.
Where's Candy in the cupboard?
Yeah.
In as well.
I think so. So we're going to put the CPU into the socket, trying not to drop it because that would be bad. There we go. I think that's in. So we put that slot down, and there we go. So this is using their new retention mechanism, which is a low pressure, or LP. I think it's got it printed on there actually somewhere. Yeah, RL ILM, which I think is supposed to be the kind of the low mounting pressure version of it. What is Poppy doing? She's gone nuts. So that was it. That is nice and easy to do. So we'll stick in our M.2 drive. Now it doesn't matter what color this is because we can just take that off of there. I don't need to remove the back of that for cooling. Actually, I'm wondering why is there... Yeah, why is there a pad there? I suppose you remove that if there's a drive in there. Yeah, of course you do, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get access to it, would you? Sorry, I'm kind of talking to myself a little bit there, but... Anyway.
Does the board have the easy release GPU PCIe slot?
Yes, it does. So you press that, that's in the closed position. Press that again, that's in the open position. So yeah, I'll leave that in the open position actually, because I'll probably forget at a later date. This actually does have RAM on both sides of this particular drive. This is a silicon power drive. This is the US70 PCI Express Gen 4x4. This is a PCI Express Gen 5 slot, but I don't have the those drives, so that is fine. Oh, wrong way round. So line up those, and there we go. That is our drive installed. That's pretty painless. Now we're going to stick in our RAM next. And the RAM is actually, this was sent by Andy Archer as well, I believe. I could be wrong. Is he in the chat?
He was.
He was, okay. So this is the T-Force Delta DDR5. This is 32 gigs of 6400 megatransfers per second. And this is Intel XMP rated. I don't think it is Expo. CAS latency 32. So that's pretty nice for a DDR4 3400. 3400 is a little bit much for some AMD systems, so... Sorry, the cats are fighting on my desk. This is nice looking RAM. T-Force Delta. Lots of RGB.
Okay, he's okay. You stay one side, Candy stay the other.
And bizarrely, these MSI motherboards have got the memory slots So they don't open at the top now, they open at the bottom, because I guess they realise that you're going to have your power cables going in there, so you can't actually move those. So let's put those down and stick that in the socket, snap that into place. Again, huge thanks to Andy Archer for sending these over. Which is actually good, because at the moment RAM prices are starting to go up again. Obviously we had Black Friday deals, and yeah, everyone's jacked their prices straight back up. And in fact, I think the case we had on last week, which was the Lian 206, which was 54 quid, has gone up 40%. It is now £75. Unbelievable. Is that 40%? Yeah, £20 on 54, so 54 would be, £5 would be 10%, £10 would be 20%, yeah, 20 quid there. So yeah, 40% more expensive.
Siggy.
Meister Glancer says, do you like no cable build mic? I do if I can. I'm not particularly bothered, but yeah, if I can get away with it, it's nice. And also it means you can use a different power supply. You don't have to go for a white power supply for a white build or a black power supply for a black build.
And Siggy Buff.
Siggy, you can't see. Oh, Siggy, there we go. Intel promised an improvement by early December. Has there been a BOS update to improve it? Not as of yet. I'm not going to hedge my bets too much, but I am relatively confident it will be out on Tuesday. I've got a feeling it's going to be Monday or Tuesday, depending on whereabouts in the world you are. On the ASUS forums, on the ASUS forum, they've been talking about it and suggesting that is quite likely to happen. But until it does happen, it's I guess it's anybody's guess. All right, George?
Yeah.
For those of you wondering what that noise is in the background, that is George. Right, while we've got the motherboard in this position, we're going to go ahead and we're going to install the base plate of the AIO. So for the AIO, we're using this. This is the Thermaltake TH360 V2 ARGB Sync Snow Edition. These are great. I cannot recommend these highly enough. They've been on offer as well at Scan here in the UK, and I think they were on offer. Where else did I see them? Amazon had them on offer. Very good performance, very good pricing, and the new improved pumps are an absolute dream. Very, very quiet. You can run them at full speed all day long, and you can barely hear it running. These are excellent, and also they come with daisy chainable fans. Unfortunately, they're not the EX versions, which are the magnetic ones, which are a lot better. But, yeah. It's a nice AIO. They're not the cheapest, but I don't know, I quite like Thermaltake stuff. And that is LGA 1700, so I will be needing those. I'll be needing a sticky-on backplate. Which one is LGA 1700? Does that say on there? Oh, it does on the side. LGA 1700, and that is the 115X, so don't need that one. And I think we'll be using that as the frame, so that, and that. We'll also be needing 4 of those. So put those to one side as well. Don't need that. When you're doing this sort of stuff, it's a really good idea to kind of just put away any stuff that you're not planning on using. Just makes life a little bit easier going down the road. Those are AM4, AM5 mounts. We'll be needing those. We'll be needing the screws and all that stuff. And that is for the Intel LGA 2011, so we won't be needing that either. Yeah, I think that is pretty much all we need at the moment. So put this to one side. Where's my mouse gone? Oh. Discord. Right, questions on Discord. William Bodie. Oh, Andrew Ratcliffe, what hertz monitor and reaction time do you suggest? That is a very individual thing. I would aim for like 144 or 165 hertz. Anything higher than that, really, it's going to be putting a lot of strain on your graphics card, and you probably won't notice the extra smoothness unless you jump up to like 480 or something, or 360. So yeah, 165 hertz, 1 millisecond response time. That is pretty much what the industry standard is now for a gaming monitor. William Bodie says, if the stream goes out, who do we blame? Dara or blame Dave? I think we should blame Dave. Greg Dodd asks, with white builds, are you seeing different shades of white on different components in the build? Yes, definitely. That is a very common thing. You do with black builds as well, but it's not as obvious, because some black builds you get like a kind of charcoal black rather than a pure black, when you get gloss black and matte black. Dutch Jan's asking, question, when they finish that main board, when will they finish that main board at the bottom side? Oh, what, there? It looks a bit unfinished, doesn't it? That's what you mean. Siggy says, I just got a great deal on a Fantex Glacier 1 420 D30, hardly any reviews on it. The reason why you don't get many reviews on that sort of thing is actually a very valid reason, is because most reviewers, myself included, you do have to consider what your target audience is. So there's very, very few cases on the market which will actually be able to hold a 420 radiator, and even more so ones with the D30 fans, like the 30mm fans, because it adds that extra depth to it. So you've got a thicker radiator and thicker fans, which means your mounting options in cases is also extremely restrictive. So based on YouTube and algorithm and that, you want to try and get your videos out to as many people as possible. So you try to review products which you think people are going to like or have a wider target audience. So that's why generally 360mm radiators are the kind of the de facto now that most people review. It's very rare these days you'll see somebody reviewing a 240mm AIO, just because kind of most cases now will take a 360, and 360 is kind of the sweet spot for terms of performance and pricing, because even though you get like a third more cooling, you're probably only paying maybe a few pounds or a few dollars extra. So that is why we are seeing that more so.
Hey Dave.
Right, let's flip this over and we will put on the back plate.
Food.
So this bit here has got 3M tape on it. You don't necessarily have to peel this off if you don't want to. The choice really is going to be down to you, but I am going to do it just so it holds it in place to make my life just a little bit easier. I generally don't tend to do this though. It's quite funny actually, I'm looking over, actually is Welly Bob still in the stream? Rick, Welly Bob, if you're still in the stream, that monitor you sent me ages ago, the LG, is actually now on Kath's desk. She's finally swapped out her monitor from the AOC 32-inch down to a slightly more manageable LG 28-inch. And you're very happy with it, aren't you?
Yes. Do you need a drink?
Yes, please, yeah. Oh, actually, oh yeah, I do. I shouldn't be drinking that now, I need a piss. He says out loud. Right, so that is the back plate on. So now we're going to take our Intel mounting hardware and screw these in. Now this is actually, like I've said already, I'm a big fan of Thermaltake and most of their products. This is something which I think they need to address. So these mountings here are an absolute pain in the ass because they're just like a knurled screw. So they're really hard to, especially on modern motherboards where you've got a lot going on around these edges. It's actually really hard to get your thumbs in there to tighten things up, especially if you've got sausage fingers, which I'm going to argue there's a lot of us in that predicament with the sausage-like spuds. So those two are fine, but this side is going to be harder to do. And also when it comes to actually removing these, it's really hard to do because of where they are. You need to kind of because of the heat cycles, they generally tend to get stuck in there pretty good. So there's nothing to actually grip onto to undo it. So all they need really is like a slot or a crosshead in the top of there, and it would be so much easier. Like this top one in this corner is an absolute ball ache. And quite often as well, when you're undoing the top mounting, because when you're on the top you've got these, the spring loaded ones, and sometimes when you're undoing this, it will undo that as well, which again is not ideal. So yeah, Thermaltake in general, excellent products, but for this mounting mechanism, this needs to change, I feel personally. So when this is locked into the pump head, that'll go on like that, and then you've got your 4 spring-loaded screws, which kind of just hold it all in place. So the tension on there. So yeah, that's how that works. Hopefully that is making sense, and hopefully you can actually see it. Irie Wolfman says they should make a specific tool for mounting screws and make it standard for all screws. Yeah, I agree actually. Although, no doubt, if someone did come out with a really good method of doing it, somebody would copyright the bejesus out of it. Just because, well, that is what seems to be the way of the world these days. Right, so I think we've prepped the motherboard more than enough now. So I think it's probably a good time now that we actually get the case up on the desk. And we'll put this to one side somewhere. Where am I going to put this? Right, Candy? How you doing? I'm going to put that over there, which is probably not ideal. But, there you go. You going in there, Babs? That's right. Your mum's gone now, you can get in there. Sorry, Candy is trying to find her way into the back of my desk. Right, I've got my screws there. And let's get our case out. Now this case is very cool indeed. I like this case actually, it's really nice. That's the main camera. So this is the Thermaltake View 380 TG. So as you can see on the back there, the back panel in its entirety is all ventilated mesh, and it's all tool free as well. So nice and easy to keep things cool and to gain access, etc. So that is something which is not as important to me as it would be for if this was going to be like on the test PC or stream PC behind me. That would be really important, but because this is going to be the video editing PC and it's going to live up on top of my desk over there, which actually, I still need to measure that to make sure it is physically going to fit. I'm not sure if it is. 11 inches. Can I take 11 inches? He said, tongue firmly in cheek. Yes, 11 inches is going to be absolutely fine. And how deep? So 16 inches or so. Yeah, actually I think it's going to take up less room than my existing PC. So, yeah, that's great. Great stuff. Happy days. So yeah, this is a very nice case, I think, personally. There's a couple of little quirks about it which I'm not keen on. That is the punch-out PCI Express plates on the back, which I think for cases these days, that is a little bit unexcusable. But this has come down in price. Originally I think it was about £130, I want to say. Now you can pick this up for somewhere around the kind of £100 mark, which isn't cheap, but it is a nice case, and it does come with 4 pre-installed ARGB 120mm fans, which adds a little bit of extra value to it. Also, it supports the BTF boards. Is that motherboard in the way? No, that's fine. Supports BTF boards in both the Micro ATX and ATX form factor. You've got rubber cutouts as well for passing cables through. Those are all included. So yeah, other than the fact that it has the punch-out PCI Express plates, it's a really nice case. USB Type-C on the top, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a nice case, and I think it's going to look really nice on top of my desk as well. Although I was contemplating, or I actually wanted to go with the black build. Because of where we are, it's kind of dusty. We've got the wood burner, so you get all the kind of dust and debris and just living in this room. The kitchen is literally over there, so you've got all the kind of like kitchen cooking smells and fats and all that kind of stuff. And the PCs do tend to get a little bit dirty, so a black case is obviously a much better idea than that, because it's not going to discolor or look as bad as what it potentially could do here. So anyway, there we are. There is the case. Thank you for the drink. Much appreciated.
It's not tea.
What time are we at? Not too bad at all.
Coffee.
Wolfman says, I wonder if NZXT is next on the chopping board. The tubers are ending them. Not they didn't help themselves. I think that is one of those things that companies will always try and get away with whatever they can, because ultimately they're there to make money. They're not there to be your friend. They're not there to be cool or hip or anything like that. They are there to make money. Simple as. And yeah, obviously at some point they're going to get caught out trying to do that, which happens. And in this instance, obviously it's happened somewhat publicly, which is never good. Fair play to the CEO actually appearing on Jay's 2 Cents, doing the interview with him, which I watched it, and it was kind of, you could tell he wasn't a legal person, but you could tell he had a vested interest in the company, obviously, because he's a CEO. But it did appear to me, at face value, that he did appear that, I wouldn't say he was necessarily apologetic, but he certainly agreed that there was areas that could be improved, which I guess ultimately is kind of what you want to hear. My biggest thing of the whole NZXT debacle, actually I'm going to put the overhead camera on, so we'll start putting the motherboard in. My thing about the NZXT thing is, I'm quite pleased in some respects that they haven't just come out and said, well, it's not our fault, it's down to the underwriting company, Fragile, which effectively it kind of is. Now they could have quite easily come out and said that and said, look, we sell the PCs to Fragile, Fragile does the rental and stuff, even though it's our name on the branding, it's not our products because we sold it onto a third party. And I think if they'd have just turned around and said that, or made it more clear that the PCs were being done by a third party, I think they would have probably got away with it. Is that lined up? Yeah, there we go. Right, let's get our bag.
Membership tonight.
Did who?
Tony.
Tony got a member. Oh, actually, I didn't even read out, did I?
I think you did.
I'm sorry. Oh, shit, I'm a terrible host.
Tony's green now.
Let me go back. Where was it? I'm scrolling back up.
Can you find that far?
There we go. Ira Wolfman gifted, yeah, I didn't read them out. I'm so bad. Ira Wolfman gifted the Mike's Unboxing memberships. So there was Gary Smith was gifted a membership by Ira Wolfman. Tony, there you go, Tony, at long last. Tony was gifted a membership by Ira Wolfman. Inky1919 was gifted a membership. Chris Hartford as well. How you doing, Chris? Was gifted a membership by Ira Wolfman. And I can't pronounce that. So F.A. Akasar was gifted a membership also. So enjoy, you lovely people. And hopefully you've thanked Ira Wolfman for his kindness. Wow, sorry Ira Wolfman, that is, yeah, that was my bad. Anyway, what do we think? Do you think the motherboard looks kind of nice in there? Actually, I'm going to get the a bit more light on this.
Dutch Jam doesn't like any of it, I don't think.
Dutch Jan doesn't like any of it. Dutch Jan, don't be miserable. It's Christmas. Goodwill and cheer to all men.
It's only taken about 30 years to get that membership, by the way.
Yeah, you got there in the end. 30 years of membership. See, 30 years of membership and you still don't get to own the company. That was a direct dig at NZXT for those of you that didn't know. So that is, again, that's one of the things NZXT, they've done a lot of things bad. I think having a separate company to do the to do the underwriting and take care of all that kind of stuff is where problems occur. Because if you're a brand owner, realistically, you don't want to be allowing other people to take control of your customer base, because it's obviously just not a good look, is it? What setting do you want? So setting 2, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Nice. So unfortunately, I don't think this is. No, it's not magnetic. Oh well, it'll be fine. Let's see how this goes. Oh yes, we do like a bit of screwing. Although, yeah, a magnetic bit would be good. I could probably magnetise it. Oh. Nice. It's actually the kind of torque stop. It's actually pretty good on here. Oh, I'm going to have to remove my my drive cover, aren't I? Because there is a screw, as the Welsh would say, over by there. I'm sorry, I'm going magnetic. There we go. Nick Barnes says, looks good in my opinion. Thank you, Nick. Siggy says, looks very nice. Thank you. Letter. Nope. Oh, yeah, that's actually not too bad. Gotta be careful with a letter and rasher. Sometimes they say things which may not be entirely stream friendly.
Can you still get the PCIe late site now? Touch channel.
Oh, balls. Yes, that is a good point. No, I can't. Oh, that's a rookie error, isn't it? Damn it.
Dutch Jan can see it come in.
Dutch Jan, thank you. Yep, there we go. That was rookie error numero uno. Oh yeah, the M.2 drive came out. I didn't put the lock in position, did I? That was my fault as well. Ah well, we're learning as we go.
Barnes, geez, the NVMe.
Yeah, I just said that.
Heatsink, no lock.
Oh, I just addressed that, I think.
Oh, did you say?
Yeah. So I suppose I should make a bit of a mark on these. So I'm going to have to remove the second one down and the third one down. So remind me in a few minutes when I forget that I've got to do the second and third. Yeah, that was a rookie mistake there, G-Zone. Thanks, and thanks all of you actually for being in the chat while I'm doing this, because it's actually really helpful. Because if there's anything that I forget or I overlook, it's really cool that you guys are kind of my my watchful eye to seeing if I'm doing something incorrect.
But you have to keep your eye on the chat there, don't you?
But I'm not too big a man to say that I make mistakes, because clearly I am a human boy and I do make mistakes. But it's really good that we've got a fantastic community here to keep me on the straight and narrow. So I thank you all. And there we go. Actually, funny enough, the motherboard fitted in a lot nicer that time. Could hear it lump down onto the thing. Firephone says, "Hey Mike, hope you're okay and the weather's treating you good." Yeah, to be honest with you, like, because of the amount of wind, even though the weather has been pretty atrocious, the actual humidity in the room at the moment, like, we have had the wood burner on all day, so that does keep the humidity down a bit. But we're at 50. In fact, it's drying out. The humidity is actually 53% here which is actually quite nice. It's nice and comfortable. And it's 23.5 degrees in the room at the moment, which yeah, is a nice temperature. I've still got my Mike's Unboxing sweater on, but I may have to remove it shortly because it is getting quite warm in here. Did I have I missed a screw? Because it appears I've put in, I'm sure I counted 9, and I've put in 8. Oh, there it is. It's stuck in my hand. It's stuck between my fingers. My big fat head on the screen. Sorry about that.
Those wind farms must be making a wind. They turn them off, don't they?
Yeah, they turn them off in the weather like this.
Ow, ow, ow! Christ, Dave, that's my back.
Oh, that screw don't want to go in. Right.
All black is so much nicer.
What's that? Ball bag?
All black is so much nicer.
All black.
How many times
Yeah,
have you-
I'm tempted to agree. I do actually quite like a nice blacked out build at times. I miss
How
it.
many times have you left the sticker on the heatsink cold plate or forgot to add the rear the cover?
Oh, many times. Many times. It's one of those things, if you do these things enough times, you're going to make the odd mistake.
What's that Dave that walks with backward poppy?
I didn't see, sorry.
Are you charging a surcharge on all white PCs?
I don't really sell them as such, so no, I don't. And in fact, at the moment, quite a few cases are actually cheaper in white than they are in the kind of the default black configuration. So no, and it seems a lot of manufacturers aren't really either. Right, this time I'm going to put the drive in properly, he says. So what I failed to recognise is there is actually one of those little plastic clips there to hold the drive in place, which I failed to tighten up last time. So it's good that I've done this because I wouldn't have realised that and I wouldn't have remedied it. There we go. There is the... I'm not too sure about these quick release covers. This one here is excellent. Like, that is ridiculously easy. This one is a little bit fiddly. Although, obviously not as fiddly as it would be if you had multiple slots and screws to faff around with. So that is the motherboard in. I can pop some of those cables back through a bit now, because those are kind of done with. It's a bit of a shame actually that the MSI logo is as far in there as it is, because the fan is kind of blocking some of it. I was considering taking the fans out and putting the new, what are they? I'll grab them, it's easier. Those ones there, the CT120EX, the ones with the magnetic sides. Those are a nicer fan, but the case comes with these, they'll be fine. I might swap them over at a later point in another video. So I suppose now we could do some of the front panel wiring, and also, obviously, we need to put in a power supply as well.
Are all white builds now more desirable, Mike?
I would say that white builds generally tend to be more desirable, yeah. Fun enough, actually, I've had someone who had a PC off me a long time ago, actually back in the COVID days. It was Chris, who is the master trainer for the UK for Sonax UK, and he had a PC off me in the first COVID lockdown, and his twin daughters both want a gaming PC for Christmas. So he's tapped me up and said, Mike, I need a PC. Got any gaming PCs? It's like, well, funny enough, I just listed one yesterday on Facebook Marketplace. What are you after? He's like, well, I'm after 2. It's like, oh, crap. So it's like, do they have to be identical? He's like, well, ideally. So I'm guessing if you've got kind of coming up to teenage twin daughters, yeah, they want
Why
to be.
wouldn't you want them identical?
They want to be treated equally.
You know somebody's going to say, but hers looks nicer than mine. And
Yeah.
it's just easy to have the same.
So the build that we did on last week's stream, we're going to have to basically do another one. Now we've got a whole bunch of wire in here, which this is why I wanted to really use the CT fans, because it reduces the wiring massively. But anyway, yeah, at least those cables are white, definitely. Hayden Trent says, I don't get buying twins everything the same. I've not.
I don't think it's anything to do with being twins. It's just.
Yeah, I think it's just that, like, to avoid the arguments, I guess. If there's a. The thing is, as well, I've only got one 5600 processor, and I got a feeling I'm going to need 2 of them. So the only other CPU I've got here, which is AM4, is going to be the 5700X3D, which is a considerably better, well, not considerably, but is a better CPU. So yeah, I might have to work on that a little bit, or maybe get another 5600. But I don't think I'll get a 5600 quick enough from somewhere like AliExpress to make the savings that he needs, because he's buying 2 PCs. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. So we'll see what happens. I've said he wants the PC, keyboard, mouse, monitor, the whole shooting match. And I've said to him, well, if you kind of budget somewhere in the region of kind of about, well, it's going to be 600 quid, isn't it? 650 or so for the lot. And yeah, we'll kind of take it from there. I just realised actually these fans are 3-pin rather than being PWM.
I thought you had a list, but they were crying.
So I might.
3-bit.
What do you think? Should I take these fans out and put in the EX instead? I think I might. I don't think I can cope with all this extra wiring. I am going to take the fans out. Yes, yes, they say. Alright, let's do that. Let's put this on power level 2. And we'll do a bit of lefty-loosey. Oh, maybe we won't. Right, this is a precision screwdriver, I think, rather than being a beast. Actually, I wonder. Oh, where did that go? Did anybody see where that screw went? No. I wonder if this the other power setting is the one for these. A bit of lefty-loosey. No, definitely not. Listen to that howling. Hayden says, ooh. Oh, there's that other screw. 3-pin and breakaway PCI covers. I know. The 3-pin fans are fine. If you plug them straight into a motherboard, it's going to be okay. But I'm guessing the fact that I've got those other fans here, they are going to be nicer, and also they look better as well. I was hoping not to get too in-depth with all this fan malarkey, but I suppose that is why I put on the stream that is part 1, because I kind of, in the back of my mind, I knew that I wasn't going to get all of this done.
Not removable fan brackets yet.
Yeah, I did. I read that.
Wasn't, you read that?
I think so. Yeah.
That wasn't touched down either.
Someone said Leanne, put in Leanne Lee fans. That case just got even worse. It should be a $20 case. I wish it was. That's the trouble, because it's actually, like, the actual layout of the case and the cooling and stuff is pretty much exactly what I would want from a PC case. But yeah, the fans they're okay. Like 3-pin fans aren't the end of the world. Most motherboards, especially MSI ones, do work very well with 3-pin fans. So it isn't like it's not a huge deal. And also, if they decided that they're going to put the CT-EX fans in there as the default, that is going to make the case more expensive. Listen to that wind howling. Oh my god.
I quite like it. It's quite cozy.
As long as it don't keep me awake tonight, I'll be alright.
I find it quite cozy.
It's quite nice when you're nice and warm and dry. I guess the fire's gone out now.
I just put a log on.
Oh, did you? Well done. Yeah, arguably it's going to be really nice to get rid of all of this extra cabling. And actually, if I don't use those fans for this, I don't know what else I'd use them for, to be honest. So it's good to use the CT fans. And get all that out of here. So they can go over there for the cats to play with at some point. Might as well reuse the screws. So I want the reverse blade fans here. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that was obviously going to happen. So in the side, we're going to go with these. These are the CT120EX reverse ARGB sync fans. It's a shame they don't sell these individually. They only do them in packs of 3. Right, so we've got our 3 fans. Shut that back in the box. Kath, go and have a wee for me. Get your sheepy on. Has anybody ever seen one of those? I'm going to ask this in the chat because I know some of you are like worldly individuals. Have you ever seen a sheepy?
Andy's got one.
Right, so these fans are going to be daisy chained like that. So we can choose whether or not we have the connector. So it uses a single magnetic connector, which goes on the bottom. So we can choose to have these either cables at the top, cables at the bottom, kind of whatever we want to do. I'm thinking I might go with these with cables on the bottom, because I just think that's going to be a little bit easier for us to do. Now, something which I should have done earlier is to remove this glass panel, which I think comes out, if I remember rightly.
3-pin fans mean DC.
Yes, DC controlled, that's correct. Does that come out? Yes, it does, doesn't it? Or does it? Help me out here, people. Could have saw that front panel came out. Or was there? Oh, actually, I think there is. Ah, yes, there is a screw, isn't there? There are a couple of screws to undo to take out the front panel. So I might leave that in. Oh, crap. Where did that go? I see. There we go. Right. Sorry you get the boring view for now. So let's turn that onto the main camera. There you go. Now you can see from the front camera. So we're going to stick these in. And these are going to go in the reverse orientation. Actually, I'm going to unwind the cables on the side. So we can pass those through the rubber grommet. Actually, they're long enough to do that, so I can probably get that round already. So I'm going to pass those through just here. through the first of one of many rubber grommets. It's funny that they put rubber grommets on here, but they've not done removable PCI Express covers. I really don't understand that. Anyway, whatever. So stick those there. So now for those 3 fans, we've only got basically 2 wires, which makes life considerably easier. Let's get a couple of fans started just so that this doesn't all fall apart. Let's do one there. There we go. I'm actually quite looking forward to this being finished. The whole graphics card thing is going to be annoying for me. Very annoying. I really would want to put my 4070 Ti, but you never know. There might be a 5080 coming out very, very soon, which I probably still won't be able to buy from Scan. Some of you that have been with us a bit longer may already remember the saga before of me trying to buy a 4080 Super from Scan. They wouldn't allow me because there's already been one sold in this house to my son. So yeah, that was a whole barrel of laughs. 5080 or 80 or 8800. Now that is the question, isn't it? Who knows? Until we start seeing some reviews, it's going to be a little bit of a shot in the dark. Right, I'm going to line these up now so they are at the optimum height and level. And let's move that one over there. There, perfect. Right, let's go back to the overhead. So now we've got our 3 fans in. They're in reverse orientation. And we'll get these screwed in. Uh, 8800 XT. I think it's going to be an interesting time. I'm hoping AMD are going to put a bit of pressure on NVIDIA. Although, for me personally, it doesn't make a great deal of difference because I am somewhat firmly entrenched in the ecosystem for NVIDIA due to using Adobe Premiere, which massively prefers NVIDIA graphics cards over the AMD. Although, if Intel can pull a rabbit out of the hat with the 4070-ish type performance, and also being very good for ray tracing, and also having the strong kind of CUDA-esque cores. Oh, scheisse. That could be very interesting for video editors, because then you'll have your quick sync, and also you'll have your AV1 encoding, which actually still isn't properly supported for Adobe Premiere. You can't even import AV1 projects into Premiere yet. God damn it, this is hard work. I'm going to have bloody arm muscles like bend over by the end of this. Okay, we're good. Our fans are in at long last, and yeah, we've reduced a lot of cabling. I'm going to get rid of that fan at the back as well, actually. Let's go back to the main camera. I think the main, not the main, I think the rear fan kind of needs to come out as well. It's pointless having a single crappy fan there. In fact, I might even consider not having a fan on the back anyway, just because it's going to hide the MSI logo a little bit, and also because Thermaltake, kind of in their slight wisdom of these fans, they only do them in 3 packs. So I don't have the ability to just put a single fan in really without opening up another pack, which I'm going to do for the AIO. Let's pass those cables through there. It's funny actually, I'm doing the exact opposite of what I wanted to do with this build. I really wanted to use the included fans. So another question is, with this, do I now put the bottom fans in as well as the intake? Now I'll let you lot decide on it, because I got to go and use the little boys' room. So I'm going to take my microphone pack off very shortly, and I will be back with you in a moment. Don't go anywhere. And back in the room. And the best thing about being a bloke is you can use your t-shirt or coat or any other implement to dry your hands. Oh dear. There we go, there's my mic back on. I'm back in the room. Hiya, come here. Okay, right. What should I do next? Oh yeah, what happened? Swap the screwdriver for a cat. Okay, sounds fair. So look at the chat, see what you guys are saying. Alessa says, is anyone else as bored with tech as I am? Yeah, I think we're all pretty much in that same boat. Hopefully CES will invigorate us with some new technology, but I don't think it's going to be. I think yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm glad that Intel have released the new, or about to release the new graphics cards. I think that's going to make a difference. David Underhill says, for the love of Mike, take your time. For the love of Mike, take off your mic, Mike. I did. Sky says, Mike left us unsupervised. Quick, grab the beer. Kath can finish the build. That would be great. William Bodie says, Kath, I can hear Mike talking with Ugly Bob to go to the pub. David Underhill says, the first part of the stream is really interesting. You horrible people. Kenny D says, I really regret not getting a 6750 XT when I had the chance to get one for £230. That's good. Okay. Aletta says, don't worry, I'm here until Mike pushes the end stream button and it doesn't work. You lot know me too well. You really do. Okay. So what was the consensus? Am I going to put the fans in the bottom as well? The updraft fans? Yes or no? I'm not too sure if I want to really, because the front panel connections. In fact, actually, I'm going to do the front panel connections now to get those out of the way. So what have we got here? We've got USB type something, got HD audio. Let's run that through over there. That way, if I do decide to change my mind, at least I've already done the connectivity side of things. So it's not going to be the end of the world. And actually, I'm going to run that behind there. And through here. It's actually not a bad bit of space in the back of this case, and there's also got a hard drive rack as well. So you can put some disk drives in should you be sadistic enough to still use drives in your machines. Solid state storage is so cheap these days. What else we got? So that is our front panel connector. We've also got a USB type 3. Is there a connector on the bottom, or is it just the side one? Just the side one. Okay. So I'm kind of talking out loud to myself here as I go. That's unfortunate that that cable...
Tony asked, have you ever built a PC, stood back and looked at it and said, yeah, that looks good, and then switched it on and blew every computer?
Fortunately, no, I haven't. No doubt it's probably going to happen at some point. Hopefully not tonight.
Hopefully on a live stream though.
Hopefully on a live stream, yeah. It would be nice to get it on camera.
Like when you don't see the people.
Yeah. Oh, that was around the right way. USB 3.0. The world's most hideous connector. I know, Poppy, isn't it? It's an absolute sack of shit. Of course, you don't have this problem with rear connect motherboards. But I don't have one of those on hand, so less said about those the better. USB type C is down there a little bit further. That goes in on the side, tucked away. I hate the fact that the USB type C front panel connectors are actually kind of a one-way deal. They're actually worse than USB type A, whereas they'll only fit in one way, but it's not obvious which way they're actually keyed, which is a pain in the ass.
Which Gen 5 SSD do you like?
I don't know, actually. I've not really paid much attention to them because they're so ridiculously expensive at the moment still, that it's kind of like, it's so far off my radar. I don't need a Gen 5 drive. I don't think I would buy one even if I needed one. They just seem to be so artificially overpriced at the moment. You tell me, what's your favourite? I guess if I had to go for one, it'd probably be maybe a Crucial. Quite like Crucial drives. They're pretty good. There we go. So there's our front panel all connected up, nice and lovely, lovely. Lovely, lovely. Look at what you could have won. Now then, now then. Oh, no, that's wrong, I didn't do that. Right, I'm gonna have a drink now. Now I've emptied my bladder, I can refill it again. Okie dokie.
I'm not sure at the moment, just been window shopping.
That's my favourite type, bit of window shopping. Right, how many RGB devices are we going to be connecting here? So if we're going for set of fans at the top, so that's 1. Set of fans on the side, that's 2. Possibly a set of fans on the bottom, that's 3. Plus RGB pump. Oh yeah, BIOS speaker, yeah. I did forget that. Do you guys want to hear the BIOS speaker? I can never remember which is the positive and negative on this, so I'm going to have to get the old man eyeglass out. Which way ring? I'm guessing positive is going to be on that end. Although saying that, speaker is that way round, so I'll try it that way. Beep beep. I'll tuck that under there. Does look a little bit ugly.
Match positive and negative for speaker mic.
Does it not? Yeah, I suppose it didn't, does it?
Left positive.
Oh, left positive. That would be the opposite of what I just did then. There we go. Tuck that in there, just so we can have a beep. I do like a little beep beep now and then. It's all right. And I'm going to use some of these handy Thermaltake Velcro wraps. Actually, are they Thermaltake ones, or did I steal them from my other pack? I think I just stole them from my other pack. Oh no, they did come with it. Yeah.
Candy's working on floor mine, under your desk.
Okay. Thank you.
By the feet.
All right, Canned. You all right, Babs? Oh dear. There's Candy, everybody. You see her all right?
Not mine, it's so out of date always.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a good kid. Aren't you? Do you want to get down? Go on then. You sit there. You got a big fat belly. You better not be bloody pregnant. Gosh darn it. How many ARGB connections on a motherboard? I think there's 4 from memory, but I probably need to check that just to be on the safe side. Cheers, Tony. Typical, he gets his membership and they don't stick around. Bloody story of my life. I jest. Okay, right. I'm going to put the side fans. See, I'm really pedantic when it comes to setting up my fans. I like to have my fans set up in a way that they make sense while I'm going configuring them. So my CPU fans normally will be fan header 1, or obviously CPU fan header. My case fans, I try and do it so like it'd be like that'll be group 1, that'll be group 2, group 3 sort of thing. So they're in logical knowns. So if one of them's running a little bit fast or I want to slow it down, I know which one it is in the MSI center.
Why won't they let me type?
I'm probably I don't know. Is it not letting you type?
Not my cursor way up here though.
Huh. Done something to your mouse?
Now.
Sorry, Tony.
The mouse works.
System
click on things like that, refresh it.
Right, so I don't have an ARGB header at the top. So what I might do is I might put a hub for the ARGB lighting. We've got 3 ports down the bottom. ARGB. I kind of like the wires all to go in the same direction. So that is what I'm going to do. There's so many fan headers on this board actually. It's kind of a little bit spoiled for choice.
David Underhill's off as well.
Cheers, David Underhill. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You've got to move the lawn before it gets too hot.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's it. Rub it in. Oh, come on. There we go, there's the fans connected up. That's good stuff. I'm going to chuck all the wire in just in the bottom there because there's a nice little handy tray for it all to go in. So that's pretty good. So next I think we can look at the power supply. So we'll go back to the overhead camera. And look at that, isn't that much better already? Without all those hideous wires. Nice clean area to work in, which is excellent. And I'm just going to go and get the power supply out of the box. So we're going to be using the Thermaltake Toughpower GF A3 as all the cables fall out of the bag. Jeez. I can see Candy looking at the box thinking, oh my god, there's a box, I can sit in that. That's great. They're great. Right, what do I need? I need...
With the AIO and pump head, shower one ARGB connect.
Yes, they probably will. I need... Well, actually, I don't need to put any cables in for the graphics card at the moment. But I am going to get a SATA. And I think I'm going to go with dual CPU heads. Or headers, rather. Has this got two? That is PCIe. That is PCIe. Okay, no, maybe we won't be going with dual then, because this power supply hasn't got them. Anyway, I don't need that much power in there, so that's fine. So power supply. This is a temporary measure, because my white power supply with the white cables is actually in another computer at the moment, which I kind of forgot as I started the stream. I was thinking, oh damn it, I need a white power supply or some white cables, but I have got the cable extensions, so I don't know whether I'm going to use those now or maybe put those in possibly at a later date. I do have the Teucer cable extensions, again sent in by Andy Archer. It seems like he's the major contributor to the channel at the moment. He's been very generous, thank you. I'm going to put in a SATA as well in case I decide to put in some sort of control hub or whatever. And actually, I'm going to put a PCI Express in, and I'm going to put in a 12 volt high power as well, because you never know. You just never know. These are only going to be 450 watt 12 volt high powers, so we won't put any 4090s in here. And there we go, there's our power supply ready to rock and roll. Hopefully not too much of the rocking or the rolling actually. Let's grab ourselves some screws. Man, it's getting hot in here. So take off all my clothes. Rasher says, oh bollocks, I noticed the top chat was on all the whole time. That's really frustrating, isn't it? I do that so often. Molex, I threw all mine away, says Ivory Wolfman. There's very few things these days that actually require Molex, but I try to never throw anything away, which Kath will attest to. I'm actually Terrible for that. Hoarding stuff. In fact, today I went up into the loft and put in a couple of monitors, Calf's old monitor, and also Welly Bob, long time ago, sent over a 34-inch widescreen, a slightly older AOC unit, which I've never been able to fit on my desk properly. It drives me insane because I really want a widescreen monitor on my desk for when I'm editing, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. So shall I use cable extensions on this to make it look nicer? Let me know in the chat what your thoughts are on that. I think probably yes, to be fair. And we've got a lot of room in the back of this case, so we could do. So these are the Teucer mod cables, extension combo, sleeved extension cables. And also comes with the cable combs and all that kind of jazz. But more importantly, they've got the white ends on them, which is awesome. So we can hopefully hide some of the ugliness. So yeah, those are great. Those are very, very good. So actually, let's go around to the other side. And we'll just flip this over a minute. And we'll chuck in some of these already. Yeah, these are really nice. I've never been a big fan of cable extensions, but the Teucer ones seem to get actually really good reviews. You only have to make sure with these that you do plug them in all the way, because that is something which can be a real pain in the arse. If you don't plug them in properly, they don't work basically. What is that? That's PCI Express. So I'm going to bundle that. I suppose I could take that through there. Not too sure which way around I'm going to need that, so I'm going to kind of leave that just there for now. And we've got our CPU power at the top here. And we can pass that back through. It's going to make it look much nicer with the cable extensions for sure. And it actually comes with two for the PCI Express power, the CPU EPS power. So I'm going to use both of them, even though I haven't got both on the power supply at the moment. I'm going to plug them in and I can just leave it inside. And that is going to end up looking absolutely fantastic. Now, cable combs, that might be a calf job, because I'm not sure if I got the patience for that. And those have probably been easier to put on at the beginning. Actually, no, not too bad. I thought this was going to be an absolute pain in the RS, but not too bad. Oh. Nope, I've gone wrong already. There we go. So these can be taken off at a later date if you wanted to. Choice is yours. In fact, actually, if I take that off there, Nick Barnes says, question, will there be clearance for EPS cables with AIO fitted? Yeah, we should be alright, I think. Because there's quite an offset.
Sorry.
Kath apologises for eating food during the stream.
It's nuts.
She likes to eat nuts.
Brazil nuts.
These nuts. So these are actually very cool. I like them.
Will there be clearance for EPS?
I just read that, Babs. I'm going to use another two of those on each one of these. I don't think it necessarily needs them, but... What is it, Poppy? You think I do need them?
Go and sort him out, Box.
Okay. I stand corrected. Actually, how many am I going to need on here? Two of those, so... I never actually counted how many cable combs there are. Sorry, this is probably not the most interesting of things to be doing on a stream, is it? But It is a necessity. Because it'll look bloody awful. And in fact, actually, I would say that these cable combs are actually one of the highlights of tonight's stream. Very nice.
I don't suppose I've ever seen you use a comb before.
Yeah. How dare you?
You did say about combing your ass or something, didn't you?
I did. I dropped things.
You're not even under the camera for it. They're all missing it, I think. Or maybe not. Mine's always a bit behind.
Yeah, these cable combs are cool. The last time I had some cable extensions was probably about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And they weren't that good. And all the cable bits basically disintegrated. These are pretty good. Good quality. Which way round have I done that? Because I want it to look the same. Anybody else there out in the chat there use cable combs at all? Or any of you actually lucky enough to use an actual comb? I struggle with that. Mookie MC says, well, we hit the stream high point. Definitely. Thing is, think of it from my point of view. This is something which I needed to do. It's much better that I do it on a stream and actually get video evidence of it happening rather than just sat here like a spud doing it on my own. Because at least this way, if something goes wrong, I'll be like, look, it wasn't my fault. I got it and I got live evidence. I wasn't drinking or anything. It wasn't Dave's fault either. Most things are Dave's fault. Right, so there are our graphics card connections. So I'm going to run those down through there. Those might be a little bit tricky to get to, but at least with cable extensions it doesn't matter because you've got all that extra cableage to actually muck around with, you know. And it's quite nice as well. They've put in a couple of 3-pin ones as well. So if you're doing like the 8-pin and the 6-pin, you can still use the 6s as well. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with that. It's a nice little kit. And in fact, I'm actually tempted to buy some for my my other PC. Shame it doesn't come with a PCIe plug. For the newer type graphics cards, but I guess that's not a big deal.
Test run PC on no box first.
Who said that?
Who do you think?
Don't know.
Nick Barnes.
Nick Barnes. Oh, I put the cable combs around the wrong way. Oh, well. I'm not taking them off. I'll do that another day. Yeah, I should do that because I've never ever seen if this CPU works. The motherboard lights up and I've done a BIOS flash on it, so I know that much. But other than that, I'm yeah, completely in the dark. Look at that. That looks nice. Or at least it will look nice when those are all pulled through. They don't look as nice when I pull them through. I lied. So those are going there. What did I not put? Oh, that one. Pull through the main power. Bit of last minute adjustment there. Yeah, that's pretty bloody good. Right, I better connect these up. So otherwise when it doesn't start up and I go, oh, it don't work, and the tears start streaming down my face. There won't be any tears on this build. I've just actually jinxed it, haven't I? Right. Actually, I think I probably should have put the AIO in first before I start tucking these wires down, because the AIO stuff is at the bottom. Oh well. We live and learn. CPU, that is CPU.
It says came on wrong end.
The wrong way round.
On wrong end it says. I don't see much what you're doing at the moment.
No, that's all right. Sorry, that's the main camera. So there we go. There is the cable combs installed and the wires in. I think that looks. Oh, that needs to go back through a bit more. And that's already come out too much. Let's tuck that back in there. Those want to come out a bit more. Oh, that'll be fine. Well, it looks better than having black cables anyway, doesn't it? They need a bit of training, I think, on there. They'll be all right. Okay. We don't need a graphics card as such, but we do need a cooler. So we definitely need to do that. So let's get the cooler installed next, I think. And for that, we're going to have to take off thumb screws at the back. Actually, I'm going to have to ditch my coat in it, so hang on a second. Just take my mic off. It's getting rather warm. What's it now here? Bloody 23.5 degrees. It's like the middle of summer. Stick the mic back on. Sorry about microphone noises. There we go. Hopefully you can still hear me. No, I actually don't mind that. I don't like the removable brackets for radiators. I think they're a pain in the ass because you end up just having another panel to fix. Right, so this has got a bunch of RGB wiring, but because we're going to be using the CT fans, the CTEXs, we don't have to worry about that too much. So let's stick the rad in there. And which way is that going to go nicest there? Yeah, I think I'm going to go that way round. So we want our fans blowing out there. Let's grab some RGB sync fans. More boxes of fans. Oh, these have never been opened. Someone at some point is going to say to me, so Mike, how much is this build actually worth? And you know what I'm going to say? I have no idea. What's going on here? Is the stream frozen? No, we're okay. Yeah, I have no idea what the cost of this would be. It's probably not good value, because there's a lot of stuff on here that we've realistically overspent on, which is completely unnecessary. But in order to make life a little bit easier, we have had a few items to make it, well, yeah, easier. So which way round do we want that? That is going to cover up that end, so we're going to have to go off of that. And I should get myself a extension lead. 6 degrees here, says Irie Wolfman, so warm.
About 6 here, I think.
It's probably not much more than that here, but yeah, it's bloody hot in here. Radiator screws, I'm going to use the ones that come with it, I think. So again, 3 fans, and all we're going to need is the RGB connection on this one, and the old magnetics, which, where is it? Down there. So that is all we're going to need there. So I'll pass that through. Although saying that, probably a better idea to screw them up first, but that's fine. So I'm going to pull that through there and connect that up at a later date. And where is our screws? There we go. Happy days are here again. They're not, I'm joking. Actually, I could do this on the other screen, couldn't I? Let's do the overhead. Put that to one side. I don't like that actually with the AIOs, the bloody tubes hanging all over the place. Now, we can use our electric screwdriver on this, I believe. Put it onto heat setting number 1. Oh. Good. Yeah, that speeds things up a bit, doesn't it? Less wear and tear on the old wrist as well. I still find it really weird that I used to do this stuff just for myself as a hobby, and now I've got people that actually watch and enjoy it. Nuts. There we go, there's our fans on. Happy days, getting somewhere. And for the screws on the top, I'll get started, I think, with the old-fashioned screwdriver. Letter says, electric screwdrivers are awesome. Mine has an adjustable clutch which prevents screws stripping. John Doe Sullivan says, hi Mike, I still have an 850 watt PSU from 10 years old, but it refuses to die. Would you still use it or chuck? It's modular and white rated, unfortunately. To be honest, like, there's no point wasting a power supply. If it still works and it's electrically sound, then, like, yeah, carry on using it. If you're concerned about the energy consumption, which I guess a lot of us are these days, it's probably worth looking at another power supply. But if it's working, like, yeah, just keep on using it. Makes sense. Or alternatively, if you can do like some sort of like flip PC build and you can stick it in there and get rid of it that way, that might be an alternative. Okay, now that is quite tight actually on that connector at the top there. Hey ho. I'm not planning on taking it apart anyway. Just means if I ever want to unplug the AIO or the motherboard power, it's going to be a bit of a pain. Okay, alright, so that is the majority of them done. Let's go back to the old Lecky screwdriver. Oh. I think that one's gone a little bit on the piss. Yeah, that one's a little bit off-centered. That's fine. It's funny to think the power supplies that we used to use back in the day, which kind of had no ratings on them whatsoever. And it was just like, this is a 300 watt power supply, or this is a 250 watt power supply. None of us knew any better. Most of them come in just a generic kind of silver box, or the actual outer was like that polished aluminium or whatever it was. And yeah, we never really had a clue what it was. Anyway, right, that is our AIO installed and getting together now, isn't it? Got a few bits and pieces in here. So we need to take these up through. Actually, which one is the AIO header? I think it's the white one. Pump. Yeah, CPU is that one there at the top, and the pump is that one there. So I'm going to pre-route that over towards that general direction. In fact, I'll take it underneath there. And then we'll come back out round. That works. Thermal paste would be a good idea, so we're going to use some Thermal Grizzly, which hopefully, yep, there's still enough in there. Actually, is that? I'll put a bit more on. I'm not too sure how much these CPUs need. I was going to do the spread, but I don't think I'm gonna. And we're going to have the tubes going around like that. So this is going to go through here and lock into position there. And that's going to look all right. Get a couple of screws started there. Oh. Get back in there. Rain says, have you done much Arrow Lake builds? No, this is the first. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That was pretty even. So we'll put those down there a little bit of a swoop. Wish those were a little bit longer actually, but anyway. Yeah, 'cause it's going to interfere with the RAM. I like it if it's going to interfere with the RAM to kind of like completely interfere with it. Maybe like straighten that up a bit. I really need to do a custom loop one day. Never going to happen though. I'm going to run this cable up through here. Actually, yeah, I remember there is actually a system fan header at the top here. I don't remember which fan header number it was. That'd be quite handy for later on. See, there's a little one tucked in there. Probably can't see it very well. Yeah, that is pretty much it, other than getting this RGB to a suitable RGB location, which is actually going to be a bit of a pain because there isn't an RGB at the top. Although there is like a breakout connector box which can go into here, which gives you USB as well. Okay. Let's just run that up through and out the top. I can worry about that in a minute. It's getting heavy now. It's not even got a graphics card in it. Okay, so that's not going very far at all. At all. Yeah, this might be a bit of a problem actually. Because I think all of our RGBs are on the very bottom. So, right, I'll address that in a moment. Need to bring this one back in the top. This is for our CPU fan header. Dear. God damn it, this is getting heavy. Kath's being quiet, there's obviously no chat. She's playing bloody games on her phone.
Games? Reading.
Reading, okay. Let's just see if I can
Can I
pack.
get to my keyboard, can I?
No.
I've got a cat in front of it.
This is a little bit tight now. There, CPU fan header, we're done. Okay. That's not looking too bad. Now, see, graphics card wise, I'm not going to put a graphics card in there at the moment because I just want to post and see it works. And I'm still undecided about the graphics card, so I'm going to take those cable extensions out for now because I don't really need those in there. And in the motherboard box, which is hiding here somewhere, there is a little punch out for the addressable RGB, or a little breakout box. Oh, also as well, I didn't show you this, there is also a USB header type thing. So like a USB type 2 extension. So if for some reason you can't plug it in, you can plug this in, bend that around underneath, and that extends it out even further. But this is MSI's kind of custom breakout box. So that's got a 4-pin PWM. So that's yet another fan header. And it's also got a half USB. And this last one here is addressable RGB. So as unfortunate as it is to plug in a black cable into what is otherwise a very blacked out build, I think I'm going to have to. And it is getting rather tight in here, which you probably can't see at the moment. So let's go to the main camera. So, sorry, lots of boxes in the way. Let's see if I can unplug the USB 3. And this is going to go into there. I'm not sure which way round this actually even goes. Is there any pins or markings on it? I'm all for them being a little bit ingenious and adding things, but when you actually don't know what it's adding to or what it's doing, it's a bit pointless, isn't it? Where are we? Right, so the Easy Connect JAF2, there's 2 little pins there. There's no pins on there. Right, and there is a pin missing, so maybe there's... Right, so it looks like that goes in there. This doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, to be honest with you. Okay. I stand corrected. That's actually pretty cool. Once you actually realise which way round it goes. Still need to work on that cable in there, but that's a me thing. Anyway, so I think that is it pretty much done. So I'll get this out of the way, and hopefully you can see now what the end result is sort of looking like. And I better plug in that RGB now I've routed that cable through for it. Which one was it? That one. Yeah, that's actually a bit of a lifesaver being there. In there. So yeah, that gives you yet another fan header for even more fans. And let's get rid of some of this cabling. It's nice that there's actually a big area down the bottom here, so you can just tuck all these cables into. And even though we've got these huge extensions, which normally take up an absolute ton of room, it's still quite easy to cable manage. And if it works, this will be great. Sorry, I should say when it works, it's going to be great. Positivity. There we go. Is that anything ugly? That's not too bad. Right, that's cool. I'm going to put the back panel on because I'm reasonably confident this is going to work.
Oh God.
Thanks, Gav. The back does need tidying up at some point, but that's a job for another night because time is ticking on.
How much room on there is there, Flame? It's a bit like when you do those belly days.
Right, let's move that to one side, and we will. I just thought I haven't got my little portable monitor, haven't I? There I have. I'll use that one.
Hey Dave.
USB and HDMI.
Ooh, it's a bit wet.
Who's that? David.
David. What do you think of that build?
Get off the keyboard. Oh, no.
On the keyboard?
I thought he was on the keyboard. I heard a click. I was like, no. The monitor's already gone weird. Let's have a look in the chat.
Keyboard, was he?
Vialis100 says, go on, calf, bang. You lot. Be the death of me. Right, HDMI. Wonder if USB works in Thunderbolt. Oh, better do. So that is all I got.
Thunderbolts a go.
Right. We're about to see for the very first time the booting of the first Alder Lake. Is it Alder Lake? Arrow Lake system on Mike's Unboxing. How exciting is that? What's the bet it doesn't work? Kath's so excited she's almost asleep with anticipation. Wait for the stream to go funny, as it does. Okay, the monitor's gone. Is the stream still going?
Still seems to be going.
Somehow I managed to put this into VGA mode then. Is that on? Okay. Now, what do you... Yeah, it's got to get weird. So, do you want to see the screen or do you want to see the computer or what do you want? Let's just do it. So, 3, 2, 1.
Bang!
Thanks for that.
Sorry, Candy.
Oh, I didn't plug in that, did I? The RGB for that? Or did I? Maybe I did. We don't have any RGB at the moment. Well, we've got some RGB lighting. What's it doing? Oh, I wonder if I turn the RGB switch off at the bottom.
Oh, good boy, Flamey.
I bet I did.
Babies, aren't you?
I turned the RGB switch off. Don't panic, it's all good. Oh, and it's booting up. I need to come around that side so I can actually see it. I think it looks alright. Mind you, that's famous last words, isn't it? Yeah, that ain't too bad. Although, I think it could do with being taller. Because the one of the fans is kind of cut off a bit, isn't it? On the right hand side you can see kind of half of that fan. So it could do with being about another 5-6 inches taller.
You were the case.
Dear me as well. Can you turn the light off please? Oh. There you go. That is what it's like in the darkness. Oh, looks like the RGB's kicking in. On the RAM. The RAM looks nice actually, and the dragon logo on the side there. That's all good. And the reverse airflow fans are blowing in a nice bit of air into
I
here.
think I can feel them over here. It's freezing.
Not bad. Let's lean it back a bit so you can see the RGB in the top there. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Very nice. I'm not too sure what's on here, so I'm going to have to... oh yeah. Mike Churchill. That's me. Oh, that was my main computer, wasn't it? So... Oh, I've got to set up my pin.
Light back on.
Yeah, go on in. I don't think it's going to let me set up my pin because it needs to be connected to the internet, and we're currently not connected to the internet. So it's probably going to have a little bit of a freak out. But it's working. It's booted. We have a display, and it says on there, just a moment, as it's getting the Windows stuff ready. Happy days. It worked.
Well done, Babs.
Yay! I did a thing. It worked. Nick Byron says, what a showcase PC. Very nice. Fred Vandermeulen says, nice work, Mike. Thank you. Dom says, and it looks amazing. Zero Defects says, post. Viali says, yay, 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 yay. Xbox Gamer says, you just need a nice white GPU. Okay. That is true. If you listen to the start of the stream, we did discuss that. There's a super chat from Dom, come in for £5. Says, let's have some more RGB. Thumbs up for that. Definitely worth a thumbs up for that. It's oh, yeah. I can't actually. If I choose test, yeah, test will work. There we go. Just so you can see. Well, I don't know if you can actually. There we go. It has loaded. There is our Windows screen in the test account. And everything appears to be working. Fantastico. Although I'm not too sure if this has got MSI Center on it. Has it got MSI Center? Doesn't appear to. No, that'll be from. That's got Asus Armory Crate. That's my old video editing setup from over there. I think, is it? It might be actually. Anyway, it works. And thank you so much for the super chat there, Dom. Much appreciated. Aletta says, in the social media age, famous last words are normally, hey, watch this. That's it. Dutch Jan says, AIO to the side. Now that's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, I think actually removing those side fans, putting the AIO there. The trouble is with that, people get a bit crazy, don't they? When they see the tube being pumped up. They see the radiator with the tubes at the top. I don't think they'd go towards the bottom. I think that might be a stretch too far, especially if there's a GPU in there. But yeah, it seems to be idling actually quite low. It's 30 degrees, the CPU temp. You can see there's a little LCD readout there. Tells you the board temps. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. How do I right click on the touch screen? Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Device manager. Oh, God, yeah, there's basically no drivers installed whatsoever. It's having a bit of a freak out. Where are we? Display. No, processors we want. Processors. Yay. Intel Core TM Ultra 5 245K. Showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cores. So that's 6 performance cores, 8 of the E cores. But yeah, I think that's worked out quite nicely. You were saying the Verge is jealous. Wolfman says, I love the Lianli AIO where the tubes go behind the case and back out through the grommet. Yeah, that's quite neat, isn't it? Says it will look. Valley also says will look much better with the GPU. I know. Yeah, that is the big thing. I didn't want to put a big black GPU in here because I think it would just look all wrong. James says 3 more fans in the bottom. I think, yeah, I think it does need a little bit more RGB in the bottom. I have got some more of the CT120EX fans, and actually, if I stick them in there, the thing is with these, because they don't have any side light in, it's a little bit muted, but I'm going to put them in there anyway. The thing is with this, I know it's like pretty much a showcase PC build, but yeah, these fans aren't cheap. They are nice fans, and you're getting pretty much what you pay for. But the thing is with all case fans these days, if you want nice case fans, they're going to cost you. And like back in the day when you maybe had 2 or 3 case fans, it wasn't too bad because you could spend like 10 quid on a fan. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, I paid 30 quid on a set of fans. I got one in the top, I got one in the back, and I got one in the front. That's fine. But now in the era of kind of almost getting to 10-digit figures when it comes to cooling, it makes a big difference. It makes it a lot more expensive. So we've got probably, I think these are about 40 quid a pack. So it's like 120 quid just on RGB fans, which is a bit nuts, really. Danger, Will Robinson. So, there you go. There's fans on the bottom, which are running at a ridiculous speed. Ah, yeah. That does make the difference, actually, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that was actually missing. That did need that. Oh, actually, what have I just put in there? Have I just put reverse? What did I just put in there? Reverse ones, yeah. I put reverse ones in, and what did I do? Nobody said anything. I put them in the wrong way. I reversed reverse blades. There we go. That's better. Clearly they need a little bit of tuning. But that's what they should have looked like. Actually, that does look pretty nice. A little bit of work to be done on the old cable management. But not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, let's stick that back onto there. And let's angle that back up. And I think we can pretty much... Well, that is moving a lot of air. I think we can chalk that up as being a success. It's a transparent GPU. That's alright. Sounds like a lawnmower now. Needs more fans, mate. I don't think I can put many more in. I can put one more in. The temps didn't go down. Did they not go down? Nope, still at 30. Okay. Right, let's turn this off. And I think we'll chalk it up as being a success. Rain says they stick together so easily compared to the Lianli or the Fantex. Yeah, I agree. Nick Barnes says was typing in needs reverse fans as look bad with the frames. I agree entirely. I think the reverse fans do kind of make this, not make it, but they certainly go some way to making it look a bit nicer. Okay, so I think that is pretty much going to wrap this stream up. Sorry it's gone on for so long, but at least you've seen it working. I didn't think we were going to get this far, to be honest with you. I did have my my doubts. Where's my chair gone? There is an absolute bomb site in here to clear up. Oh my god. Anyway, actually, I should have a look at the chat. Actually, let me get rid of this off the desk a minute so I can see the chat. I'll tell you what, I'll unplug it first. Oh God, jeepers. That's better. Right, that's a good build, Mike. Thank you. Rick says you'll hardly notice the reverse fans on the bottom when you've got a big arse GPU in there. Yeah, that is a shame, isn't it? Like covering up 40 odd quid's worth of fans is a bit of a shame, really. But anyway. Charles Ballard says 9 big honking ARGB fans. Letter says I still like the Arctic P14 140mm case fans, only $34 for a 5-pack. Yeah, the Arctic P series fans are really good value for money. They really are. Rain says, I love the non-white RGB aesthetic. Rain says, for me, it looks better without RGB. Okay. I can go with that. Okay. So, I think that is pretty much it. Unless you've got any last minute questions, I think we are going to call that a day. And yeah, Chalk Lab has been a success. I thought it was pretty good. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And if you want to check out any of the bits that we've used in this particular build, they're going to be linked in the video description, well, the stream description. Just realised actually I've got that bloody great light blasting my eyeballs out. That's better. That's much better. Yeah, there will be all the links in there, so if you want to check out anything, you can do. Alternatively, if you want to pick up a Windows license key, nice and cheap, about €3.50 I think they are at the moment. Premium CD keys, that's all there. Obviously, you want to continue the conversation, you can head over to our Discord. Links for that are also in the chat as well. And if you want to help support the channel in any other way other than obviously just watching the videos, liking them, subscribing, being a member, Patreon, PayPal donations, etc., you can go over to Technically Stable, get yourself a a mouse mat, get your own design put on there, or pick up one of their pre-designed ones. They've got some very cool designs actually, or just make one of your own. The choice is entirely up to you. Or if you want a Mike's Unboxing one, let us know. We'll send you the graphic, or send them the graphic so they can do it for you. And at least you get something out of it, and we get a little bit of a kickback from the affiliate marketing on that. So, I think that is going to wrap this one up. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, smash the like button. If you want to see more content like this on a daily basis, hit subscribe and the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. And hopefully, we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you on Monday morning. Or alternatively in the Discord. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. And we'll catch you later. Cheers. Bye. Kath, just say bye. There she is. She said bye. Night everyone. See you later. Not sure if that worked.